Welcome to the Porter's Tailgate Show.
It's about that time.
Go Big Red! Go Big Red! Go Big Red! Go Big Red!
If you're willing to accept the responsibility that you have to protect this team and this school and this town, and make no mistake about it, gentlemen, we are in the business of protecting this town.
I shut them down, shut them down.
Coming up, you'll hear from RHS head coach Mark Lenhardt, our athlete spotlight, and your Wolverine weekend report.
Let's get rocking!
Wolverine football is just a half an hour away. Here are Wolverine analyst Scott Fuller and the voice of the Wolverines, Jared Anderson.
And a very good Friday evening to you. Welcome to K. Fackrell Stadium at Evanston High School, the home of the Evanston Red Devils, as we get you situated for 3A Wyoming High School football tonight as the Riverton Wolverines are on the road for the first time, taking on the Evanston Red Devils. I'm Jared Anderson, joined by Scott Fuller. And Scott, it's an interesting night of football awaiting us. I feel like both of these teams have a legitimate chance and have high expectations to get their first win of the season.
Yeah, Jared, good to be with you as well, and good evening to everybody back in Riverton, listening on air or online. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Jared. This is what is on paper and what both teams are expecting to be a very competitive game. I think these programs feel like they're more or less in the same spot when it comes to entering tonight and playing a team like they're going to be playing across the field from each other here this evening. I think the Wolverines have a lot to prove. When that schedule came out, 0 week, a very difficult PAL team. Week 1, you can't have a tougher draw than Cody, even though it's at home. This is a different story. This Evanston team is, I think, one that you have circled as all right, we had 2 really difficult games that we're going to have to play perfectly in to win anyway. This is a game that they can go out on the road for the very first time, first road trip as a team under Coach Lenhart, and say, let's actually see where we stand. Just 3 games in now, 2 official games into this Coach Lenhart era in this 2023 Wolverines season.
Not a very lengthy series history between these two teams. They've only met 13 times. Riverton leads the series 7-6, or as John Gabrielson's going to tell us in a little bit, it might be more like 7-5.5 or something to that effect. We'll get some thoughts from John on here in a little bit. This is the Porter's Tailgate Show. Not only is John Gabrielson going to join us with his thoughts, but we'll also hear from both head coaches involved in this one. And Elin Olive, the voice of the Evanston Red Devils, was kind enough to take a couple of minutes before this one to break down some things to watch for from the Evanston side of things. So we'll get to know tonight's opponent a little bit more, and we'll chat with Coach Lenhart as well in just a little bit. Again, it's the Riverton Wolverines and the Evanston Red Devils, about 27 minutes away from kickoff. We'll take a timeout and bring you a few comments from the Evanston side of things right after this on 105.1 Jack FM and County10.com.
Mountain View Supply, your local experts in fire and water. We got everything you need for new installs to accessories, and don't forget our great selection of stoves, grills, and spas. We've been serving Wyoming for over 40 years, so you know you can trust us for quality products and expert service. Visit portersmbs.com or stop by our Riverton or Casper locations today. Porter's Mountain View Supply, located on 750 East Sunset Drive in Riverton.
The Tyler Watson State Farm Agency is a proud supporter of Riverton High School Wolverine athletics. We understand the importance of community, and we're excited to be a part of it. As your neighbor, we're here to help you with all your insurance needs. We offer auto, homeowners, renters, business, and life insurance. So stop in and say hi, or give us a call today. The Tyler Watson State Farm Agency. We'll be here for you.
Make your Watch the Wolverines on the County 10 YouTube page.
Back on the Porter's Tailgate Show as we count you down to kickoff. We learn a little bit more about the Evanston Red Devils now. Bring in their play-by-play guy from my local radio in Evanston. Elon Olive joins us. Elon, thanks so much for taking a few moments. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you again. So you've gotten a chance to see this Red Devil football team a couple of times against out-of-state opponents. Just curious on your overall impression of them through a couple of games here.
Well, the overall impression is that this is the first year for Coach Steve Moore, and you can kind of tell because there's a lot more things in the offense specifically that we have not seen in quite a while. The Red Devils, this is my fifth year here, the Red Devils are throwing the ball a whole lot more than what we have seen. Cohen Morrow's kind of getting a chance to show off that arm. And that's kind of the big kind of thing that jumps out on the screen at you is that it's not just a purely run-dominated attack.
How is kind of overall the culture? Riverton's going through a coaching shift too, and I think even if Coach Lenhart didn't come into the community with such a good reputation, I think Riverton people would be more optimistic just because simply there was a change at that position. Is that kind of what Evanston feels like too? Is morale pretty high around this team?
Yeah, absolutely. Coach Moore is a longtime Evanston local. He's worked on Evanston coaching staff both at the high school football and high school wrestling level. So he's a known commodity, I guess you can say, in the community. The excitement was through the roof when the announcement was made. Kids love him. They love playing for him. They've known him for years because he's a former, I believe, offensive coordinator. So, yeah, there was definitely a lot of excitement and a lot of anticipation coming into this season to see what Coach Moore would do.
You mentioned your quarterback, Morrow, looks like a solid QB. I've watched him a little bit on film, and I've heard a little bit about him. Has he, and I know he played last year too, if I'm not mistaken, but has he taken on kind of the leadership role?
You know, Cohen's kind of a natural leader. He was on the Evanston Outlaws 2 years ago, and he was one of the leaders there as well as a sophomore. I guess that would have been his American Legion year there. But he's always been a leader on this team. He's always been one of those guys that can be relied to handle things in any situation. So him being a leader is definitely not anything new. You could say the same thing with Kai Barker. He's definitely been a leader. We're seeing a lot more of Brady Roberts in that role as well. The seniors, with this team having as many seniors as they have, they really do have great leadership, and the younger kids are starting to pick up roles as well. So it's really exciting to see what Evanston football does in this transitional year.
You might have just mentioned some of them, but on the defensive side of the football, are there a couple names we should watch out for who makes plays for this team?
Yeah, definitely Drew Barker. He is a junior. No, sorry, he's a senior. And he had three official interceptions in our game against Ben Lomond in week 0, plus an interception on a 2-point conversion. So he's definitely one to keep out for. Brady Roberts had an interception against South Summit last week. This team does a really good job in the secondary with takeaways. According to the WyoPrep stat report that came out for week 0, they actually were the number one or tied for number one in turnovers. So those two names are ones you're going to want to keep an eye on. Cohen Morrow, our quarterback, he's also one of our starting linebackers. He is just a ball magnet. He just has a nose for the ball and knows how to make plays. So those names right there are probably ones you'll want to keep an eye on.
Does this week provide some more excitement? I mean, I know we get excited for any game, even a 0-week game, but now that Evanston is playing an in-state opponent, and it feels like maybe from both of these perspectives, Riverton and Evanston feel like this is a game that they could walk away on the right side of the scoreboard. Is there some excitement this week?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the first two games did feel like preseason. We were playing Utah teams who is 2 weeks ahead of Wyoming. So we played Ben Lomond in their 3rd game of the year. We played South Summit in their 4th game of the year. So it really does feel like this is the beginning of the season because this is a team on equal footing. It's a team inside the state that there's a potential you'll see later on in the season if you're fortunate enough to make the playoffs. So this does feel like really kind of the beginning of everything.
And then kind of my last question for you is just zoom out a little bit and tell me what you think about 3A football overall. It seems like it's been the Star Valley and Cody show, but does Evanston feel like they can compete this year? Do you see anybody competing with those two schools?
Absolutely. I think the Red Devils do feel like that they can compete this year. It's been a bit of a transition these last 2 weeks because, like I said, we are with a new offense. We're doing some new philosophies, some things we haven't done for a while. As far as kind of a wider picture, I really like Powell. I really like Jet Schwan at quarterback. Trace Anderson's an absolute stud in the wide receiver position. So I would say Powell looks really, really good. Douglas, you can never count them out as well.
Awesome. Well, appreciate all you do. Thanks again for taking a few moments, and best of luck to you and the Red Devils all season.
Same to you. Thank you so much.
Mountain View Supply, your local experts in fire and water.
The Evanston Red Devils appreciate his time. Let's keep it going with our conversations with the opposition, and I was able to catch up earlier this week on the phone with the new head coach of the Evanston Red Devils, Steve Moore. Steve's been a member of Evanston High School for a long time. He's a social studies teacher and an assistant coach for many years with this football program, but after Jim Burton's departure to Lander Valley High School this year, he took over the reins as head coach. Here's my conversation earlier this week with Steve Moore, and we'll get this queued up and ready to go here in just a second for you.
Find more Fremont County sports coverage on the County 10 Sports Podcast.
This is the Porter's Tailgate Show, made possible by Porter's Mountain View Supply in Riverton. Jared Anderson, Scott Fuller, and Jason Peterson with you from K. Fackrell Field in Evanston. We go to the phone now and chat with the new head coach of the Evanston Red Devils. Steve Moore joins us. Steve, thanks so much for taking time out of your day. How's this time of the year for you? Not only are you settling into the football routine, first year as a head coach, but it's also back to school time.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Just trying to get kids in their routine, back to school, long days, practice obviously after. First few years going okay. You know, we're battling. We're trying to get some things figured out as a staff, and you know, that's kind of what preseason, we call our first 2 games kind of preseason, figuring out what we got, what works best for us, what doesn't, and kind of trim down that and really focus on what we're good at. So,
Coach, you've been around this program a long time, Evanston offensive coordinator under Jim Burton and part of the wrestling program. So Evanston's not new. Being a coach isn't new, but has your day-to-day changed a whole lot from going to coordinator to head coach?
Yeah, it's definitely been a change. I mean, you know, for the last 20 years, I've been a coordinator or a position coach, and so you focus mainly on that. Now with the new position, it's more managerial stuff, paper, you know, just overseeing the whole thing. So it is a different role. But I got great assistant coaches underneath me that are stepping into and doing a great job of filling in the coordinator and the position coaches. But yeah, it's definitely been different for sure.
You're 2 games in, but like you said, you kind of branded as a preseason with the out-of-state opponents. I know the out-of-state teams had a few more games when you saw them too. But what was your big takeaway from watching your team the first couple weeks of action?
You know, you always have those first game blunders early on in the year. You know, and they were, like you said, both those teams were couple games already into their season, so they'd kind of gotten past that. So we had to, you know, get our first game feet underneath us, if you will. And, you know, we showed progress from week 1 to week 2, which is what you always want to see. And we talk to kids all the time. We're climbing that mountain, trying to get better and better. And I think we're doing that. So that's a good thing.
You open Wyoming play this week with Riverton. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the Wolverines and how you've attacked this week in practice.
Yeah, looking at film, they're a pretty good football team. You know, against Powell, they chucked the ball around pretty good, got lots of yards in the air, got some great athletes on the offensive side of the ball, we're noticing, and they obviously try to get the ball in their hands. And up front, they look physical and doing a good job up front. So it's a pretty solid football team looking at them on film, for sure.
watching your squad on film, it just certainly looks like, and I know he was last year too, but Cohen Morrow looks like he's become quite the leader for you. Is he just kind of naturally gifted in that leadership role, or how does that work for him?
Yeah, we have a great senior class. And Cohen obviously is one of our leaders. He's had a great year last year, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And he's definitely a leader for us on both sides of the ball, and somebody we definitely use a lot. But he's not the only one. We got some other seniors that are stepping up and doing a great job for us too.
How has the transition from the style of play you want to implement gone? I know Coach Burton had his style, which he's now in Lander. You'll see him next week. But it feels like here in Riverton we're going through the same thing. And Coach Lenhart said before 0 week he wished there was another month to implement his new schemes. Are you kind of in this same boat?
Absolutely. I echo that. I wish we had more time for sure. We're doing offensively, we're doing totally different things. And that's something we got to keep in mind as a staff, is these kids have been, since middle school in a certain program, trying to run a certain offense. And now when you change that, there's a lot more that goes into that than what people think. And we're coaching these kids how to do something totally different. And so it takes time, and it takes some patience, and that's kind of, we're in the middle of that right now, is transitioning to our new style of offense, which is, you want it to happen overnight, but it just doesn't happen that way. So yeah, it's definitely been a challenge.
And I'm kind of curious, too, your thoughts on 3A overall. We've seen the Cody and Star Valley show the last few years, but it feels like there are more teams, Evanston included, that have expectations rising. It feels like it's going to be pretty competitive.
Yeah, it's a juggernaut for sure. Obviously, like you said, you got Cody and Star Valley kind of at the top of the ladder right now. But I agree with you. I think there's some other teams that are making pretty quick improvements and could definitely make some noise towards the end of the year. And hopefully we're included. And yeah, it's every week's going to be a battle for sure.
All right, Coach. Well, best of luck to you. Congratulations on the new role, and it's good to hear that you're settling into it. And I'm sure Evanston fans are excited for Friday night and for the upcoming season. So we'll wish you best of luck all season long. Really appreciate you taking a few moments to join us.
Sounds good, Jared. Thanks for reaching out to me, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Want to thank head coach Steve Moore for joining us earlier this week on the phone, taking a little bit of time to tell us about his program. Again, his first year taking over for Jim Burton. Evanston hasn't been to the playoffs since 2018. They haven't won a playoff game since 2007, so he is trying to change that. This is the Porter's Tailgate Show from K. Fackrell Stadium in Evanston as we count you down to kick off with Riverton's first road trip of the season. We'll take a short time out here. When we come back, we'll hear from the Wolverines head coach Mark Lenhardt, and we'll also hear some thoughts on this one and some interesting series history from John Gabrielson. You're listening to Wolverine Football in the Porter's Tailgate Show on 105.1 Jack FM and County10.com.
Your home improvement project's a breeze with Sutherland's, your home improvement experts. Always the right products at the right price for every project, every day. You can shop and pay online at Sutherlands.com, and we'll get it ready for easy in-store pickup. With the tools and the know-how, you can count on Sutherlands for any job. With over 30,000 items in stock, make your first stop at Sutherland's Home Improvement in Casper and Riverton.
Why do we enforce seatbelt laws? Because in real life, you don't get a second chance.
Welcome you back here to K. Fackrell Stadium, the home of the Evanston Red Devils. PA announcer just called them the Outlaws as they ran onto the field. The Outlaws is the Legion baseball team, so I understand how that works sometimes.
Let's not pretend we haven't done that before.
Absolutely. I'm not even sure where I am half the time I'm on the radio, so I do know we are awaiting a much anticipated game for both of these teams. They're both 0-2 technically to start the year. Riverton's 0-week game won't count in the standings, but both teams looking for their first win on the season. Earlier, I was able to catch up with Wolverine head coach Mark Lenhardt on the field before this one, and first started the interview by asking him how his trip from Riverton went.
It was good. I thought that our trip down was nice. Anytime we can get away from home. We love our fan support and we love the community and how great they've been through our first 2 games. But sometimes it's good to get out with the fellas and them just spend time with each other, and we can really focus on getting ready for a football game.
Was there anything noteworthy on the bus ride down? Did you guys stop and stretch anywhere? It's kind of a long trip. We get 2 real long ones right off the bat.
Yeah, no, we started in Kemmer. We stopped in Kemmer and we did a walkthrough. We have a pregame routine. We like to try and eat about 4 hours before a game, so we try and stay to that. So we pack lunch and then do the walkthrough in Kemmer. And I thought the guys were pretty sharp for the most part. They're just ready to play. You know how it gets to be once it turns into Friday. Can't wait to get on the field.
I don't want to speak for you, but I chatted the other day with one of your assistant coaches who said it was a really good week of practice. Is that the sense you had?
Yeah, I think so. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are big work days for us, and it was hard. But I thought in a lot of ways guys came back ready to roll, and I think that Derek had a good week of practice, and hopefully we can be ready to go, and we're going to need to be, because I know Evanston's 0-2, but they've played 2 very quality opponents and bigger schools from Utah, and so you can see the athleticism they have on their roster. They run an odd front on defense, like a 3-5-3, and all 5 of them across the board are super athletic and fast and can move. And I think that their run game, they got some things going in the last game against South Summit, and so they ran their counter play well, and that's a play we've struggled stopping. And so hopefully we can find a way to be physical tonight, stop the run, try and make them one-dimensional. But I think the real key to tonight's game is we got to start fast. I can't tell you the last time Riverton's played with a lead, and I think that will do a lot for our kids' psyche, and hopefully we can come out of the gates and get some stops. We played well defensively early last week. Now we got to find a way to put some drives together on and get a lead and get our kids some confidence.
I know everybody looking at the scoreboard saw Cody Riverton lopsided last week, but I thought Blake had a lot of great moments, and I think valuable experience for him. Derek back and ready to go here as we're counting down to game time?
Yeah, Derek will start, and then Zarek Prosser will start at defensive tackle, which will be big for us. We had a little bit of a scare with him last week, and so we weren't sure, so we decided to hold him out. But yeah, we're 100% healthy, and everybody's ready to go. And there'll be some new packages and some new wrinkles this week, and we're trying to put everything we can into winning this football game.
Coach, best of luck. Appreciate it as always.
All right, thanks a bunch.
The Star-Spangled Banner played by the Evanston High School Marching Band. Very nice job by the EHS Band. I have a habit, Scott, of rejoining right in the middle of the national anthem, but always good to get that over the airwaves and on the stream on County 10's YouTube channel. We welcome those of you tuning in to the Porter's Tailgate Show. We're about 6 minutes away from kickoff, as the Evanston Red Devils and Riverton Wolverines looking for their first win on the season. Every week this season, we are graced with the presence of the longtime voice of the Riverton Wolverines, John Gabrielson, who gives us some of his thoughts as we anticipate another week of football and has a look at some series history between Evanston and Riverton. So without further ado, we send you to John Gabrielson.
It's the 14th meeting between these two schools. Riverton leads the series 7-5.5. 5.5. What? Well, yes, and to fully understand, this week we travel back to 1988. Head coach Gary Glenn and the Wolverines found themselves in a three-way tie to get into the 4A playoffs with Evanston and Green River. The trio of teams would meet in Rock Springs early in the week to sort it out. The idea was for two teams to play a half. The winner of those 24 minutes would play the winner of a coin toss that would start it all off. Now, Green River won the toss. They received a bid into the playoffs and the second half meeting with the winner of the first. Still following me? So on to the game. Riverton QB Doug Noseep ran for a 73-yard touchdown on just the third play of the game. It was called back, though, on an illegal block. Riverton Ranger reporter Dave Perry noted that it was the only penalty of the entire contest. Later, Noseep would run 53 yards into the red zone. A fourth down pass to Travis McIntosh seemed like it was a first down, but it was ruled incomplete. Riverton had to settle for a 29-yard Anthony Cuff field goal. With 7 minutes left, Evanston found the end zone, but the PAT was blocked by Noseep. The hope was still alive, but that's how it ended, 6-3 after a half. Red Devils ending the Riverton season. All-state selections that year for Riverton included Todd McCoy at running back, Ron Berg and Doug Noseep on the defensive side, and as I mentioned earlier, kicker Anthony Cuff. Other notable names from the game in the stat sheet included Jim Bob Griffin and Randy Rushing. Kay Fackrell, the man whose name is on the stadium where these two teams are playing tonight, he was the head coach. The Red Devils would go to Laramie next weekend. They knocked off the legend John Detai and the Plainsmen under the lights, if you can call them that, of Detai Stadium. They would fall in the state championship, though, to Cheyenne Central. So in reality, and according to stats from WyomingFootball.com, fast forwarding to the present, Riverton leads 7-6. Evanston, though, has won the last two, both at home and on the road. Despite that, Riverton boasts a 3-2 record at Kay Fackrell Stadium. So we'll see which way the chips fall tonight in a fairly short history of the Red Devils and the Wolverines. Thanks for traveling back in time with me. I'm John Gabrielson, back with more of the Porter's Pregame Show with Jared and Scott right after this on the County 10 Sports Network.
Our thanks to John Gabrielson as we keep it right here. We're nearly ready for kickoff from Evanston, Wyoming. Thanks to John for doing that. Appreciate it as always. If you watched in on the coin toss on County 10's YouTube channel, the Wolverines look like they won the toss, deferred to the second half. Evanston will take the football. So, Scott, you mentioned it, but last time we saw Riverton win the toss and elect to receive. This time they defer.
Yeah, which is what you see a lot, Jared, in this day and age. The analytics, I guess, of football at all levels dictate that you're better off if you defer and get the ball in the second half. But against Cody, second-ranked team in the country, we saw Coach Lenhart say, give me the ball. We have deferred this time around, so it will be the Red Devils with the first offensive drive of the game.
Derek DeVries will be back at quarterback for Riverton after he was out last week with a bit of an ankle injury. Kept him out a week and said he is ready to go and anxious to get out there. I thought Blake Gattenbein had some good moments last week, but good to see your senior leader back on the field. Evanston quarterback Cohen Morrow is their senior leader, and he had a little bit of an injury late last week as well in a game against a Utah opponent. Came out. There was some talk about whether or not he'd be ready to go, and we were assured by everybody on the Evanston staff that he will be ready to go as well. So I think just as a football fan, that's what you want. You never want to see injuries, and you want to see good athletes competing against one another.
100%, especially at the high school level. You don't root for any of these kids who are just out for the fun of it to get hurt, but you do want to see what your QB1 is going to do against their QB1 in the defenses and vice versa. And Cohen Morrow is a stud on both sides of the ball here for the Red Devils. He is definitely a linchpin of their offense, is a big part of the second half of the defense as well. But he's fine. We also have our returning injured quarterback back as well. So everybody is more or less at full strength here, which is the way it should be, as you say, Jared.
Yeah, Riverton also returns a defensive tackle in Zarek Prosser that was injured last week. So I know Coach Lenhart is excited to get him back on that defensive line. Wolverines will kick away. They are in their away white uniforms for the first time this season, trimmed in cardinal red, black helmets with the R logo on it. Evanston in their home red uniforms, clean helmets, just the solid red helmet, and blue pants for the Red Devils. Hunter Saltzgaver has it teed up for the Wolverines. Back to receive for the Red Devils, Gabe Hutchinson and Kai Barker. Kai Barker undoubtedly is a name you'll hear a lot as he plays basically all three ways. He's the punter, he's a return man, he is one of the big offensive weapons receiving, and he makes a lot of defensive plays. So if you're watching along with us, number 87 for Evanston will be all over the field. Hunter Saltzgaver has been a very reliable kicker for the Wolverines, and he's got it teed up. Jared Anderson, Jason Peterson, our camera operator, Scott Fuller, along with you from Evanston High School, and we are underway on a Friday night. That one out of the hand of Hutchinson, and it'll be a touchback. So 1st and 10 from their own 20 is where the Red Devils will have it first.
You mentioned Kai Barker, number 87 for these Red Devils. Probably the tallest player on the football field, listed at 6'3", is the first receiving option for Cohen Morrow. They also love their running back. Brady Roberts, number 5 on your screen, 5'10", 185 senior. He is speedy out of the backfield, has a nice balanced approach, has good cutback vision. So those are the two big offensive weapons for Riverton to shut down here first things first.
Morrow will stand in the shotgun first play from scrimmage. Roberts in the backfield with him. He'll send one in motion, give it to Hutchinson, who's got a lot of room off to the right side. He's got a first down and a whole lot more. Tiptoes down the sideline, is finally pushed out of bounds by Jordan May, but Hutchinson gets all the way out to, we'll see where they mark it, but actually, they're going to say he stepped out of bounds a little earlier than I thought. I thought he got across the 40, but they'll knock him out of bounds at the 38-yard line. He tiptoed there for a little bit, but a good run to start the game for Hutchinson.
Hutchinson, a fellow senior as well. He gives up a lot of size to his counterpart in that backfield, but as you saw on that run, getting to the outside, balanced approach, great tiptoe footwork along the sideline.
Two in the backfield this time. They'll pitch it to Roberts, who has a burst of speed as soon as he holds onto the football, and he gets ahead for about 9 yards, real close to the sticks again. He's all the way out to the 48-yard line.
Was that Talon Tolman, I think, on the play at that linebacker position? Fortunately made the stop after a gain of 9 because that was another wide open run. This is reminiscent of the 0-week game against Powell, where Riverton out of the gate had a hard time stopping the run game.
Morrow back to the shotgun. He's got two receivers to either side. Roberts in the backfield. He gives it to Roberts, and a much better job by the Wolverines to corral him, but he will pick up the first down after a gain of a couple. So 2 carries for Brady Roberts right out of the gate. He's got 11 yards, and there's Evanston's second first down of the ball game here as we've played about a minute.
Got to stop the run against this Evanston team. Morrow's a good quarterback in the pocket as well, but you want to force him to throw and force him to make those decisions.
Morrow in the shotgun, 3 receivers bunched up to the left side. They'll opt to give it to Roberts again, who's met right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play, and a host of Wolverines in there making the play. Try to pick out some of those defensive names. Here as the broadcast goes on, Zarek Prosser was one of the first ones in there, and Ryan Cox into the pile, as well as, I'm sure, a couple others.
Prosser, as you mentioned, back from injury, returning healthy today, as you see on the Gambles replay, winning the point of attack on the defensive front. Sometimes that shock value of the first couple of plays against the team, give up a couple of chunk yards. Riverton's looked much better on the run last couple.
Second and a long 9. The give is to Roberts again, and not much doing. A stout defensive line for the Wolverines is going to let him gain maybe another yard, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 8.
Starts inside out on that defensive front. You see those 2 big guards, 2 big tackles. on the outside for Riverton, forcing that play outside and then containing it on the cutback lanes. This is much better. You knew they could do it. Just took a couple of plays to get Riverton off the bus here in this first series.
Trips out to Morrow's left side, one to his right, fades to throw for the first time. It's complete to Kai Barker, and a nice open field tackle on the far side by a Wolverine defender. I see Vincent over there, and maybe Ty Sheets in on the play too, as Evanston hurries up to the football. They may want to go here on 4th down and 4. They're going to get to the line of scrimmage quick as Morrow's trying to get his guys organized. See if Evanston goes on 4th down. They're lining up, indicating they will. Morrow under center, takes the snap, gives it to Roberts. Roberts picks his spot, gets across the sticks, and he's got more as he keeps his legs churning. Evanston goes on 4th down. They gamble, and it pays off. A nice pickup on the ground from Brady Roberts.
Yeah, wasn't convinced they were going to snap that ball either, Jared. And when they did, I thought for sure we'd see a play-action fake with a quarterback boot. But was not needed for the Red Devils. They convert their 3rd first down of this drive.
8:43 to play, scoreless here. Evanston on the first possession of the game, and now they've moved it to the Wolverine 31, picking up the 4th down conversion. Kai Barker goes in motion. The throw is to Kai, who stops, hesitates, and will get free for a short gain of 4 on 1st down. He made a nice move after catching the football to free up some space, and Kai Barker's got 2 receptions.
I'll give some credit to the Riverton defender there, too, forcing that play back inside. That's not where Kai wanted to go. He wanted the outside edge and down the sideline. That's a player that you just hope to contain him. So forcing him back in and giving up 4 as opposed to 30, that's a win for the Riverton defense.
2 in the backfield. Morrow under center. They'll give it to Brady, who is met right at the line of scrimmage again. Good job by the defensive side, or the left side of that defensive line for the Wolverines, and it's going to bring up 3rd and medium.
Setting up here really hard. A play-action bootleg. I think they may be waiting to get to right about where they are right now, the 25, but that's something to be aware of for the Riverton defense. Red Devils have been very successful running the ball. Don't get sucked into that on a play action.
Big 3rd down play, first quarter action coming up as Kai Barker goes in motion again. They'll pitch it to Hutchinson in the backfield, who's got blockers and a lot of space. He's off to the races, and he is in the end zone. Hutchinson from 31 yards out, and the Red Devils score first.
Just getting that edge here on the Gambles replay, and a lot of speed after that. Get the pitch out to clear the tackle more quickly than a normal handoff would. And this pursuit, Coach Lenhart is just not going to be pleased with when looking at the linebacker level, and especially that safety level. Once that front 4 is taken out of the equation, everyone else has to get to the sideline and clean up. And there's a lot of speed between Roberts and Hutchinson in that Red Devil backfield.
Take back one thing I said. Gabe Hutchinson was from the 25 there. They had the 31 still on the scoreboard. So that's what I looked up and saw. But a 25-yard run from Gabe Hutchinson, and a lot of space off to that right side. Again on a 3rd down. And Evanston with a real back-breaking drive there. They converted on the 4th down just across midfield. They pick up another 3rd down conversion and take it to the house on a nice play. So Evanston making some work of that Riverton defense here early on. 7:13 to play first quarter, and it's 7-0.
Coming out knowing exactly what you're wanting to do. Establish the run. Didn't have to throw a pass, with the exception of that quick throw in the flat to Kai Barker, which is more of an extended handoff there. And the Riverton defense has the capability to stop this Red Devil backfield. We saw it a couple of times during that drive. Key is to do it consistently enough to force 4th and 5 or longer and get your defense off the field.
Jordan Mendez just converted the point after touchdown. He's got it teed up to kick it away for the Red Devils. McIntosh and Sheets in the backfield for the Wolverines. Mendez will kick it high, and Sheets will have an opportunity to receive at his own 5. Sheets looking for a couple of blockers. Has a seam, gets across the 35. A nice return from Ty Sheets, the speedy returner will set up the Wolverines for the first time offensively at their own 38.
Off a kickoff, this might be the best starting field position that the Wolverines have had all season. And let's see what they can do with it. Riverton also with a very good idea what they want to do. They want to utilize the flat when it comes to the passing game, and Coach Lenhart has told us several times they really want to establish the run. They're going to be facing a 3-4 defense by and large against Evanston here, which is an interesting dynamic against the run as this game goes on.
Got people jumping across the line of scrimmage here before the Wolverines can snap it, and I think that's going to be a free 5 yards for the Wolverines as it looks like the Red Devils encroached.
Show you this on the Gambles replay because you're going to be seeing a lot of this. A 3-4, 3 up front, and 4 linebackers. And what you'll see here on the left side is a run blitz, trying to fill that gap. And Riverton coaching staff knowing that's coming, going on a hard count the very first play.
Good to see Derek DeVries back out there for the Wolverines. He is in the shotgun. Nathan Mills, the center, snaps it to him. DeVries fades to throw. He's got Sheets, completes across midfield and all the way down to the 34-yard line. One play, 1 first down. And the Wolverines with the completion to Ty Sheets.
That back quadrant on either side is going to be wide open for DeVries all day. The trick is going to be avoiding the pressure from that run blitz and then not making a mistake on the read. DeVries makes very few of those, so if he can handle the pressure, that read right there on both sides of the field is going to be there a lot for DeVries today.
Clay Sheets, McIntosh, and Saltzgaver to the left of the Wolverine offense. DeVries has 2 receivers to his right, rolling to his left, looking in the end zone. Wanted Clay Sheets, who gets tripped up in the end zone. It goes incomplete.
Like DeVries here, he looks healthy on that ankle. Rolling to his left, gets his left shoulder around, and you may be able to see here on the Gambles replay that this is a good no call in the end zone. Just got his feet tangled up with the defender.
Glad to have you along. Thanks to Porter's Mountain View Supply in Riverton for making our tailgate show possible. Jared Anderson here, Scott Fuller to my right. Jason Peterson is out amongst the Evanston student body and running the camera this evening.
Braving the wilds of the student section.
DeVries is under center, full house backfield. We'll give it to Jordan May for the first time, who spins out of a defender but goes backwards, and May's going to lose a lot on second down. Tried to get away from one Red Devil and unfortunately went a couple further steps backward. It's going to set up a 3rd and very long.
The left side of the O-line's just got to do a little bit better here if you're going to establish the run, even though you're not to the play side. And Jordan May is so tough to bring down. At that point where he has lost forward momentum, it actually cost his team about 6 additional yards because he's so tough to tackle, and he's still up, but he's no longer going forward. So brings up an interesting early game 3rd down and long play call here.
3rd and 17 officially from the Red Devil 39-yard line. Gattenbein is back in for the first time. He will flip it to DeVries, who's out there. DeVries wants to throw on the tricky play and overshoots Ty Sheets incomplete.
Let me show you what I love about this play call, even though it doesn't work here on the Gambles replay. Count the guys in the box. Look at all the Red Devils in the box, and you figure on that pitch right there on the misdirection, they're going to bite. Actually, a pretty good job on the island cover corner out there on the far side, not biting on the run. But I love the play call. That easily could have been a walk-in backwards kind of touchdown.
I was going to say, it's kind of an interesting decision right here. I know 3rd and 17 is a long time, or a long attempt, but on the Red Devil 39, they'll send Gattenbein in, who's going to punt it away. Gattenbein angles it to the corner and will kick it out of bounds. It dropped at about the 10. We'll see what the far side official says.
It's going to net about 20 yards. In fact, less than that. Yeah, right about 19, 18-yard net punt.
The official walks all the way up to about the 20-yard line, in fact. So that's where Evanston takes over with 5:34 remaining first quarter. The Red Devils on top, 7-0 on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard. Red Devil football, they'll actually mark it all the way out to their own 22 where the nose of the football was. So better starting position for the Red Devils than I initially thought. Morrow out of the shotgun has Roberts off of his right hip. He's got 2 receivers to either side. Possession number 2 begins for the Red Devils. Morrow will pitch it to Roberts. Lost his footing. Tolman was right there in his grill anyway. I don't think he was going to get a lot of speed, but it did help the Wolverine defenders that Roberts lost a step there. Just his foot kind of gave out under him, it looked like.
Oh, Tolman forces this slip. The back sees Tolman coming downhill and has to plant his foot sooner than he wanted to, and Tolman gets credit for the tackle as he should, and got the grass monster to help him out a little bit. Not grass here. I think we're on the newfangled special turf. This is a brand new field from what I've heard in the last season. New turf here in Evanston.
Appears they've done some press box renovations as well. Looks really good here at Evanston High School. Roberts gets the give on 2nd and 14. He's got some room to the right side and just keeps the pile moving forward near the sticks. He gains about 12 on 2nd and 13, and it's going to bring up a 3rd and 1.
Both of these backs for the Red Devils are well below 6 feet, but it makes their center of gravity lower, and they have strong, powerful legs, perfectly exhibited on that last play. There were about 4 Wolverines along for the ride and just couldn't bring him down.
3rd and 1 from the Red Devils' own 31-yard line. 2 in the backfield with Morrow. He's just going to sneak it, and he's got all kinds of room. Morrow's off to the races now across the 50, to the 30, the 20. Can anyone catch him? They cannot. Cohen Morrow from his own 31 on a quarterback sneak. Touchdown, Red Devils.
Show you the start of this play here on the Gambles replay. You're going to see a lot of Wolverines up close to the line of scrimmage. For run support, basically, they left one single safety high. And once a speedy, athletic quarterback gets by that safety, you can forget about it. There's got to be a better read on that play by your safety. I do give him credit for trying to run the play down. Almost did. It's 60 yards down the field. But when you're the only guy there, they call you safety for a reason.
The PAT snap is mishandled, and now the fire drill. They'll throw it into the end zone, and nobody is home. It was a pretty good job by the holder, whose name I'm frantically looking up. Breckenridge did a good job to try to make something of a poor snap or a poor hold and throw it into the end zone, but nobody home for Rich out of the end zone, and it's 13-0 Evanston on top of Riverton on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard. So 2 possessions for the Red Devils, 2 touchdowns. Not the start you're looking for the Wolverines, and Coach Lenhart said in our Porter's Tailgate show he wanted to get off to a good start.
And I think the way they haven't gotten off to a good start on the defensive run side is what's most disappointing, because Evanston is not hiding the ball at all. They didn't run anything that wasn't seen on film in the last game that the Red Devils played, to say nothing of week 0. This is fully expected. We know the guys we have to stop, and the Red Devils are basically marching down the field with a couple of nice defensive stops here and there by the Wolverines, so they can do it. It's just a matter of being consistent enough to force long passing situations, and so far Riverton has not been able to. Hopefully they can answer back on offense here.
It was a 69-yard Cohen Morrow quarterback sneak. He takes it all the way to the end zone. And with 3:58 to play, the Red Devils lead the Wolverines 13-0. Nick McIntosh and Ty Sheets back to receive. Jordan Mendez kick once again. Mendez holds his hand in the air, readies his kicking squad, and puts the toe to it. It's a wobbler that's ultimately going to bounce out of bounds. Good job by Ty to let that go, and the penalty flag flies.
Escort that ball out of bounds. Make sure it's not going to be recovered as a live ball by anybody in a red jersey.
Took kind of a weird hop right along the sideline. I wasn't sure it was actually going to make it. It's almost like in baseball when it goes right up the foul line and you're just trying to will it to the other side.
It's an odd-shaped ball. It does strange things. Riverton has the option to have a re-kick or take the ball And I thought I heard re-kick, but take the ball at the 30.
I definitely heard the words re-kick. I'm not sure why. I haven't seen a lot of coaches take advantage of that, but maybe Coach Lenhart likes something he sees in his kick return. He certainly had a good one last kickoff, and that's exactly what Coach Lenhart's going to opt to do.
A lot of these kick cover guys might be in your secondary, and if you can force them to run 75 yards down the field again right before they have to cover your receivers, it's not always a bad thing.
So we will kick off all over again. Jordan Mendez, the junior Evanston kicker, will get it ready to go again.
You also have a couple of explosive return options for the Wolverines.
Want to thank Perfect Power for making the stream possible tonight. Perfect Power Electric and Landers, supporting Fremont County athletes on and off the field. Give Perfect Power a call for your electric needs at 332-7184. Mendez has a much shorter kick this time. It's McIntosh that will handle it across the 30 to the 35. Now he's to the 40 as he bounces it out to the right side and gets across the 45, finally drugged down at about the 46-yard line. So there you see why Coach Lenhart opted to re-kick, and a nice return by McIntosh and his blockers in front.
Darn near at midfield to start this second drive of the game for the Wolverine offense. Not to oversimplify and dramatize things in the first quarter of the third real game of the year, but this is a pretty important drive for the Wolverines to make a statement, get some points on the board, get the offense going. We've not seen against Powell or Cody consistent offensive drives put together throughout the course of those games, because those are good defenses. Now's your chance at midfield.
DeVries has 3 in the backfield. A look at Coach Lenhart as he gets under center. And now the official in the back throws a penalty flag, and appears we may have a delay of game.
That's what it was.
Number 1, 5-yard penalty.
And out of a change of possession, that will especially get under the skin of the coaching staff.
So back it up to the Riverton 41, and they'll start with a 1st and 15.
May have seen some personnel shifts when it comes to some of the special teams units, kick cover, punt return. Coach Lenhart mentioning that he was open to that. Got to put the 11 guys on the field who are going to do the job right, and that could be a couple of guys unfamiliar with what team they needed to be on.
Wolverines have 4 receivers to the left side. They'll fling it out to McIntosh, who's got a host of blockers in front. McIntosh picks up 9 with forward progress, and after the penalty, it'll be a 2nd down and 6. Nice job of blocking in front, and well executed by McIntosh on the catch.
I have talked about this play for the Wolverines, and if they can get those receivers blocking, how successful it's going to be. Look at that double team. A couple of receivers taking on one of the biggest, best athletes on this Red Devils team, and Brady Roberts. It may take a couple of guys to take care of him, but they did take him out of the play.
Ball's at the Riverton 49-yard line. 2nd down and 6. DeVries is under center. Fake the give to Jordan May, or rolls out to his right side. He's got McIntosh open, who hauls it in. McIntosh slips a defender, and he's off to the races to the 10-5, and is drugged down there. 1st and goal, Wolverines on the Nick McIntosh reception.
Most defenders in the secondary especially are not Kai Barker. They're not going to chase down this play. This is normally 6 points. Beautiful move in the open field by McIntosh, and that's 87 Kai Barker saving a touchdown. But this is much more like it for the Wolverine offense, what they want to do vertically and horizontally. And now is when you want to maybe establish the run a little bit and see if you can get yourself I think the first run touchdown of the season it would be.
They'll say he was down at the 7. 1st and goal from the 7 as they give it to Jordan May. He'll try the left side, is stood up initially, and then a host of Red Devils swarm into the play. Drew Barker made first contact, it looked like, and then a bunch of Red Devils were there. 2nd down and goal from the 7.
Late personnel substitution here for Riverton.
You mentioned it at the start of the drive, Scott, but big possession, it feels like, even really early in this one for the Wolverines to come away with some points here after the Red Devil shootout to a 13-0 lead. DeVries under center, fakes it to May. Pressured in the backfield, dances around, throws, nearly intercepted, but ultimately comes away incomplete. DeVries is going to limp back to his head coach, too, which is not good to see. He will stay in the game, it looks like, but hobbled on the ankle.
This move by DeVries. It's good balanced footwork by a quarterback in the pocket to be able to move at the last minute when he has to. And I was a little bit surprised that DeVries didn't complete that ball. He had a good look at it. Sometimes when you make a move like that, this sounds crazy, but you're so surprised you're still standing up, it can distract you from step 2 of the process.
DeVries is in the shotgun. 3-step drop, looking across the field. McIntosh was his intended target, but it's overthrown.
This brings up a 4th down now. Do you take the points? Relatively easy 3, fairly consistent Riverton kicker, which is what it looks like they're going to do.
Hunter Saltzgaver is out there. The holder will kneel down at about the 15-yard line, so a kick of about 25. Saltzgaver will boot it through the uprights. Looks good. Official nods his head and says it is good, and the Wolverines are on the scoreboard thanks to a Hunter Saltzgaver 25-yard field goal with 1:40 to play in the first quarter. It's Evanston 13, Riverton 3.
Not the way the first quarter was drawn up, obviously, for the Wolverines. Giving up a couple of one long offensive drive by the Red Devils, very methodical, and then just one big shot play where Cohen Morrow on the planned QB sneak on 3rd and short ended up taking it to the house. But that was a much improved Riverton offensive drive with a pretty short field. 53-yard drive at the end of the day, resulting in 3 points for the Wolverines. And that does help maybe later on in the game, depending on how the rest of this goes, to have those 3 points in your pocket so that you may have some additional options in the 3rd and 4th quarters.
I want to give a huge thank you to the good folks at Redden, Kane and Associates in Riverton. Proud to support the Riverton Wolverines and all of our local Fremont County athletes. Redden, Kane and Associates, your local tax professionals, proud of our athletes' hard work on and off the field. They're located at 202 North Broadway in Riverton, or you can go online to rivertoncpa.com. Thanks to Redden, Kane and Associates for making our broadcast possible. Hunter Saltzgaver just kicked a field goal to give the Wolverines their first points, and he will line it up to kick it deep for the Wolverines. Does so to Hutchinson. Hutchinson on his 2nd return of the ball game, looking for some space, gets it across the 25 and is met and dropped at about the Evanston 27.
It's good kick cover by the Wolverines, keeping them on that side of the 30. With a run-heavy team like the Red Devils especially, they don't love to throw it unless they feel it's situationally beneficial to do so, or they have to. But they are definitely a run-first team with those 2 senior backs in Roberts and Hutchinson. And making a run-first team cover more ground is generally a good thing for a defense. More chances for them to cough up the ball, more chances for you to make a play in the backfield.
Morrow out of the shotgun with 1 man in motion, 2 receivers to either side. Roberts in the backfield. He gives it to Roberts, and another great job by the Wolverine defensive line to stand him up after a gain of 1 for Brady Roberts. So the Red Devils have had 2 possessions, and they've walked away with 2 touchdowns. See what the Wolverine defense is able to do this time.
Yeah, we want a lot more of what we saw in that first down play. Talon Tolman's not going to get the tackle to finish it off, but he forced that from inside to out. Had help there on the far side, outside. And that's what you have to do, is to force these backs to make decisions. Don't let them get downhill. Respect the fact that they can move, but also understand that you have help. It's not always a loss to not have a tackle and force a play in the other direction.
Morrow is rolling to his right, airing it out, incomplete, out of the outstretched arms of his intended target, Clayton Cook. First target I think I've seen for Clayton Cook this evening, and by my count, the first incomplete pass out of the 3 now that Morrow has thrown.
Jackson Larson tried to undercut this route here at the end. Just a little bit beat on the play deep, and fortunate that that was an overthrown ball. But that's as good as a stop at the line of scrimmage. So we have 3rd and long, and this is not 4-down territory, assuming the Wolverines don't give up significant amount of yardage toward the 40 here.
I've seen some back-breaking plays from this Evanston offense, so we'll see what happens on 3rd down and 9. Late first quarter, Morrow is backing up. Screen pass is set up. And that is Roberts who gathers it in. Roberts treks just across the sticks, gains 10. He needed 9, and it's another Evanston first down.
This is going to drive Coach Lenhart crazy because he's the guy that likes to call that 3rd and long screen play. His guys should know it's coming. Just barely enough of the first down there.
1st and 10, Red Devils. Roberts gets the carry out of the backfield again, powers forward for a gain of 2. It's been the Brady Roberts show. He's carried 10 times, and he just got that first down reception as we wind down the final seconds of the first quarter. But not before the official's going to blow it dead, and Coach Lenhart says he wants a timeout.
The interior of that offensive line for the Red Devils, there's some big boys in there. Got guys like Kenyon Muir, a senior, who's listed at 255. I have a hard time believing that from here. There are a couple of big boys on that front. It does seem like Riverton's having a hard time just establishing that first element of defending the run game and forcing the ball where they want it to go.
That is an interesting timeout with just 4.3 seconds remaining in the quarter. I don't know if we would have seen a snap there, but time winding down in the first quarter. Again, on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard, it's Evanston 13, Riverton 3. Evanston scored at the 7:13 mark of the first quarter on a 25-yard Gabe Hutchinson run, and they scored at the 3:58 mark on a Cohen Morrow 69-yard touchdown run that was basically a quarterback sneak. They mishandled the extra point snap, and that's their 13 points. Hunter Saltzgaver a few moments ago for the Wolverines at a 25-yard field goal kick. 2nd down and 7. Evanston out of the timeout, and pending a penalty, this is probably the last play of the quarter. It'll be Cohen Morrow out of the shotgun. He's got Roberts in the backfield with him again, and 2 receivers spread out to either side of K. Fackrell Stadium. Sends Hutchinson in motion. We've seen this play. They'll give it off to Hutchinson, and he's met in the backfield and driven backwards this time. Tillman in there. Clay Sheets was in there, and a nice stop by the Wolverine defenders as they back him up. Looks like a loss of about
Jared. Might be Caleb Winters. That's 25. Making that play, forcing the run play back inside. That's what you have to do. It seems simple. Much more difficult to contain that outside edge, easier said than done. But look, it forces a big 3rd down and long to start the second quarter.
Into the first quarter, let's squeeze in a quick timeout. It's Evanston 13, Riverton 3. Back with second quarter action after this on County10.com and 105.1 Jack FM.
Upgrade to your vehicle. Wyoming 4x4 is the place to go for all your upgrade needs. From lift kits to bumpers, grill guards to bed liners, we've got everything you need to take your ride to the next level. We use top brands for our bumpers like Fab 4s, Ranch Hand, and Road and more. So get your vehicle ready and stop at Wyoming 4x4 or give Dan a call at 307-857-3175.
Every Wolverine football game all season long. Watch on the County 10 YouTube channel or listen on 105.1 Jack FM.
A good first quarter for Evanston. They lead Riverton 13-3, but they are staring at a 3rd down and 10, which to this point hasn't been a huge issue to them. They've converted a lot of 3rd downs and 1 4th down in the first quarter. Snap is to Morrow. He's on the run. Morrow wanted an open man, but it goes right through his hands. Might have been a little overthrown. That was Bronson Sims that had some open field, and if he would have hauled that in, I think he would have been real close to a 1st down if he could have turned it upfield. So 4th and 10 now, Evanston from their own 39. We saw them go on a 4th and 4 earlier, but they were across midfield, so we'll see what they opt to do. As it looks like Kai Barker's into the ball game, and he's in the ball game every play, but he's back to punt this time.
which doesn't mean they're not going to run some kind of a fake, but you would have to be pretty confident, or the inverse of not so confident in Riverton's abilities not to kick this ball away.
Snap to Kai Barker is handled nicely. He had a guy right in his grill, too, and gets the punt off. McIntosh lets it go. It hits at the 30 and rolls all the way inside of the 20 down to the 15, where the Wolverines will take over. So 18 seconds into the second quarter, and the Wolverines force a punt for the first time in the game, and they'll take over at their own 15.
Riverton put together a nice drive, their only point-scoring drive of the first quarter. A couple of big plays. One that should have been 7 points, but for the great individual effort of Kai Barker on the Red Devils side, that number 87, who, as Jared just mentioned, is in on every play, including those defensive plays. You can see how, right now on your screen, what a big physical presence he is in that linebacker and short secondary scheme. But Riverton had a nice drive. Just get back down the field and do it again here.
DeVries working out of the shotgun. Jordan May off of his left hip in the backfield. Two receivers to DeVries left, one to his right. That's Sheets. He's looking to Gattenbein, and it goes out of his hands, out of his grasp, incomplete. So the first target for Gattenbein is incomplete, and DeVries now 3 of 8 for 81 yards unofficially. He does have a couple of big completions, though.
Evanston runs that 3-4 with run blitzing from the linebackers to support. You just never know who's going to come or from which side. Had the Red Devils brought everybody on that first down play, that screen would have been perfect.
Everybody in close into the tight formation. Some misdirection, and as the ball on the turf, it is, and the official says Evanston football fumble. And Evanston's going to come out of the pile with the football and set up really nicely at the 14-yard line. Wow, not at all what you want for the Wolverines right there, who are trying to gain any amount of momentum. Fumble will give it away to the Red Devils.
Tough to see in close there on the Gambles replay. It looked like a miscommunication. It looked like DeVries was expecting the back to cut differently in the backfield in front of him in any event. An untimely turnover. Red Devils are good at forcing them, and very short field now for them to work with.
Morrow under center, turns and hands to Brady Roberts. Roberts has a little bit of room off the right side, but it closes in a hurry. He does pick up about 3 on first down.
This is tough to ask your defense to try and keep any points off the board when they start well inside the red zone.
I believe it was Jason Clark on the fumble recovery. I don't have him on the varsity roster, but he's the only number 9 I have, and it was 9 that got a turnover chain on the near sidelines here, nearest to us. Morrow again under center. Second down and 6 for Evanston. Roberts slips out of one tackle, is down inside of the 5-yard line, fighting forward and continues to move that pile. It'll set up a 1st and goal for the Red Devils.
Balance that Roberts has here in the backfield as he's contacted initially, and then just the churning of his legs. And 5'10" back so low to the ground, he is difficult to spot in the big pile and bring down.
Yeah, it was hard to see exactly where he was. He gets it all the way down to the 2-yard line. They'll give it to Roberts again. Ball is loose. It's on the floor, and I think the Wolverines have it. They do. So we trade fumbles, squirts away from Roberts, and there is a break the Wolverines desperately needed. Riverton football.
Let's have a look at this on the Gambles replay. Apologize, Jared. That's an involuntary reaction on my part. Ball. Anytime I see a ball
you were ready to dive on it.
Ball.
Scott.
That's a coaching tick I have in my living room or up here in the press box. But you see the strong back of the Riverton defense going after those running backs, putting a shoulder pad, putting a helmet to the ball. Good things can happen. And now we need the Wolverine offense to help out their defense and capitalize with some points here.
It's crazy as the Wolverines are right back to where they started at their own 15 to take this ball over again. There's another loose ball. They're going to say, was he down though? He was down. A good pickup on the ground. Jordan May, or was that Sheets on the carry? I lost track of it there, but it was ultimately a gain of about 10 right to the chains, and it's going to be a first down as they'll move them.
I'll show you the replay again here on the Gambles replay. Ball cannot be fumbled forward, and so they're going to bring it back. I couldn't see a number there yet either. Bring it back 5 yards where the ball initially came out. Fortuitous bounce of that football for the Wolverines, though. That would have been very disheartening to force a huge turnover inside the red zone and then give it right back.
Wolverines now at 84 yards of total offense with 9:50 to play in the second quarter. First and 10 from their own 26. They'll pitch this one out to Sheets. Sheets is knocked out of bounds, running hard, but not much gain there. That's actually not Ty Sheets. That is Hunter Saltzgaber, who may have had the play last time around too. Hunter Saltzgaber ultimately gains nothing, did more running from side to side than he did forward, trying to find any daylight, knocked out of bounds hard by the Red Devil.
Just a fast secondary. Red Devils on that play immediately. Good pursuit from side to side, forcing a second down now here. Pretty important play in this drive for the Wolverines.
DeVries is out of the shotgun. He's got 4 receivers bunched up again to his left side. He's got McIntosh with blockers in front. McIntosh across the 35 and driven down right about there. Nick McIntosh has a pickup of 9, and it'll bring up third down and short.
Those off-the-ball receivers for the Wolverines are doing a much better job blocking downfield for this play. Seen it a couple of times now. And that's a huge play. If that third down turns out differently, it's 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 10. This is a much more manageable, maybe even 4-down territory, depending. 3rd and 1 here.
Ball at Riverton zone 35, 3rd down and 1. DeVries is going to quarterback sneak it, and he's got plenty of room. Picks up 5 on the sneak. First down, Wolverines.
Flash it back to 1940s football here. Just everybody pile it ahead. And DeVries with enough momentum, with maybe a little assistance from his backs, and certainly his offensive lineman in front of him, to get the first down and then some.
1st and 10, Wolverines now from their own 40, as DeVries has 2 receivers to either side. May in the backfield. Actually, that's Tolman in the backfield. He wants McIntosh. He's got it to Nick. Nick is free. He's down to the 10-5. McIntosh to the house. Touchdown, Wolverines. Nick McIntosh from 60 yards away, and it's the first Wolverine touchdown of the game.
Yeah, it's better. DeVries, senior, seeing the single high safety here, and he knows obviously what route he has just called. Knows his inside slot receiver, and Nick McIntosh is going to run that up and out, and as soon as that safety bites over the top and the corner undercuts the route, it is nothing but blue and red end zone in front of you.
Saltzgaber lines it up for the extra point. It is up through the uprights and good. And with 8:33 to play in the second quarter, it is Evanston 13, Riverton 10.
Well, that doesn't erase the entirety of the first quarter, Jared, but it does make you feel better, at least a little bit, about the Riverton offense. And on the defensive side of the ball, they've shown they can stop the run. They've done it in fits and starts. In fact, you might say more plays than not. Riverton has held these 2 senior backs for the Red Devils to under 2.5 yards. It's just those big chunk plays that the Red Devils have been able to get that Evanston used to leap out to a early lead. But obviously now, as you see, the Fremont Motors scoreboard, things are back to a much more manageable scenario. Not sure if you're watching on the YouTube screen what is going on with our clock. It is ghosting intermittently. It's coming and going. So Jared may have to be on top of the time for you here.
Well, there is 8:33 remaining second quarter. I do want to back up and say one thing that I saw on the fly that I didn't, while I was writing stats, have time to say out loud, but Nick McIntosh on the hold for that extra point did a great job. The hold was behind him. He did a great job of turning, gathering it in, and getting it down for Saltzgaber, preventing a missed PAT there. So Nick with the 60-yard touchdown catch from Derek DeVries, and the assist on the hold there as well. You don't think a lot about holders in the game of football, but that is an important job.
Yes. Everybody knows when you've done something wrong in that position.
Kai Barker and Gabe Hutchinson back deep for the Red Devils. Hunter Saltzgaver has it on the tee. Evanston student body making some noise as Saltzgaver will boot it away. It's gathered in by Hutchinson at his own 4, and he looks for some space, goes up the middle, and he's across the 25 down to the 29-yard line, where he is dropped by a couple of Wolverines. In there first was Tyree Harris-Aragon.
Easier said than done, but you want to keep these two backs, Roberts and Hutchinson, in check enough where the Red Devils have to throw. They have that Kai Barker as a huge receiving threat, but if you can take away the run game and bracket him and pay more attention to him, that really limits what Evanston's going to be able to do on offense, but it starts with those front 4 stopping the run.
Red Devil football, 1st and 10 from their own 29 as they take back over. The give is to Roberts. Brady Roberts has been busy tonight, and he's got a lot of room out on 1st down. Gain of 10, and he is down right at the yard marker. I see Clay Sheets grasping his hand for the Wolverines. They will give Roberts the 1st down. Unofficially have 13 carries for 56 yards for the senior Brady Roberts, who is just an instrumental part of this Evanston offense. Clay Sheets is going to hang in there and stay out there after he maybe jammed a finger or something, grabbed his hand, but will stay in there and line up on the edge. Morrow will give it again. Guess who? Brady Roberts, who's met right at the line of scrimmage. Tyree Harris-Aragon is in there again, and a couple other Wolverines in there on the stop, including Paxton Stevens, a freshman who I've seen make a couple of plays.
I have too. This is such a hard play to diagnose if you're an interior defensive lineman, because look how quick the handoff is. Just immediately it's right on top of you. It's the exact same play as they ran on 1st down for 10 yards, and Riverton was not fooled that time.
Morrow in the shotgun, 2 receivers to either side, and 1 in the backfield with him for Evanston. He wants to throw this time, was looking for Barker on a slant, and way out of his grasp, incomplete. That was a good job again from that Wolverine secondary, and it's going to force a 3rd down and 10.
Every series of 4 downs for the Wolverine defense, you know Evanston wants to run the ball, force them to pass it once, and you see why here. A pretty surefire, easy throw from Morrow to his huge target, Barker, over the middle, and the throw just wasn't there. Miscommunication or whatever the case was, but it brings up a 3rd down and 10.
7:11 to play, 2nd quarter. 3rd down and 10 to go for the Red Devils. Morrow out of the shotgun, has some time, now under a little bit of pressure, dances around. It's gathered in by Sims. Sims has a 1st down. He's into Wolverine territory all the way down to the 43. First catch of the ball game to Bronson Sims comes at a great time for his team.
This play looks really good initially from the Wolverine defensive point of view. You see Barker going in motion there, and that's exactly where Morrow wants to go on the left side, but the pressure forces him to roll to his right and to his 3rd and 4th receiving options. Was very sure about halfway through the play that we were going to see a 4th and 10 coming up, but you got to give credit to the senior quarterback and the lower on the tier wide receiver 3 and 4 wideouts out there finding a hole and making a play.
Pickup of 19 on the 3rd and 10. 2 in the backfield this time for the Red Devils. They'll pitch it out to Hutchinson. Hutchinson off left tackle, has a lot of room. He's got another 1st down, and he's all the way down to the 26-yard line before he's knocked to his feet.
Morrow's pitching that ball can't possibly be designed that way. He's throwing it like it's a hot potato he just pulled out of the oven. Not a whole lot of control on that pitch, but obviously it worked out very well once he got to the back. Riverton defense now being forced to think about that quick handoff inside that we've seen a couple of times. Now you have some pitching going out to the wide side, to the outside. A lot to think about.
Evanston down to the Wolverine 26-yard line. Barker goes in motion. They'll give it to Brady Roberts, who pushes the pile forward. He was stood up after he gained about 2 yards, but he pushes it forward for about 3, maybe 4 more.
Just the strength of This guy is listed at 5'10 and 185. There is some laundry on the field. There is a penalty that will probably be going against Evanston based on the part of the field it is on. Oh, wait. It's an unsportsmanlike after the play.
Yeah, that was well after the play.
I didn't see the infraction.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 87. 15 yards from the end of the line.
It's on Kai Barker, your senior leader on this team. I don't know what he did that was seen, but you can't be doing whatever that was if you're Kai Barker.
Coach Moore is out there with his headset off, getting an explanation from the head official. That's going to move the football all the way back to the 35-yard line. And Coach Moore comes away shaking his head.
Could be something that was said there. It's an emotional play when your running back is churning and you're trying to block for him and he goes 7 yards with a pile. Sometimes something can slip out that you don't necessarily mean.
Lights just flipped on here at K-Fackrell Stadium at 6:50. Still plenty of daylight from Evanston, Wyoming. Officials going to get together and chat about this. We're glad you're with us on 105.1 Jack FM and County10.com. Jared Anderson alongside Scott Fuller, Jason Peterson, our camera operator, and we're glad to have you part of the broadcast. Thanks for spending your Friday evening with us. There's 5:54 to play second quarter. Evanston on top of Riverton at 13-10. Officials clarifying that the unsportsmanlike also results in a loss of down, so it's second down and long now. Second down and 19. They place the football at the 35-yard line of Riverton, and Cohen Morrow goes under center with 2 in the backfield here for second down. He'll pitch it out to Roberts. Roberts, a little bit of space off the left side, and it's strung out nicely by a couple of Wolverine defenders. Ryan Cox is out there, and one more Wolverine I saw that'll get you. Aiden Sanchez also made a nice pursuit to the football.
Yeah, it's a good thing they did. Short side sweep should not get 5 yards like this. Just crack down the outside, force them back inside. But a couple of Wolverines in the second level, they were able to make the play and prevent that from being a disaster. Still a very long third down after the unsportsmanlike conduct against Evanston.
Gain of 5 brings up a 3rd and 14. We've seen Evanston with a lot of third down success, and a timeout by Coach Moore and the Evanston Red Devils before this upcoming 3rd and 14 from the 30. Gives us a chance to thank the Wyoming Catholic College in Lander. Wyoming Catholic College is proud to cheer on our local athletes. Your dedication on and off the field is admirable. You can find more about Wyoming Catholic College at wyomingcatholic.edu. Also, big shout out to our friends at Elevate Rehab. Elevate Rehab in Lander, a proud Fremont County sports supporter. Elevate Rehab is your comprehensive physical therapy clinic offering a variety of services. Elevate is your ticket to health. Good luck to all Fremont County student athletes. They're located at 535 East Main Street in Lander.
Evanston is coming up on no man's land here. It may be a little bit far for your field goal kicker to try to get 3 on the board, and not enough field in front of you for a punt to usually be too beneficial. Coach is always thinking one step ahead, so you have to think before this third down play, how much do I need in order for me to go for it on 4th? I'm going to say half. I'm going to say if they can make it a 4th and 6 or 7, Evanston will be in a mood to go for it. But if they lose yards on this play, you have to punt.
Morrow in the shotgun, has Roberts in the backfield, 2 receivers to either side. Awaits the snap, now he gets it, fades to throw, looking to his left, now pressured and runs to his right, has a receiver, it's Kai Barker wide open across the first down line. Kai Barker is knocked out of bounds at about the 11-yard line, and it's another big third down conversion for Evanston.
D-line needs to get through here. It's just that simple. They need to create some more pressure on the quarterback here, because if Kai Barker has time to move around in the secondary, there aren't many corners or DBs or safeties in the state who are going to be able to keep up with him for an extended period of 6, 7, 8 seconds. That's asking a lot of your secondary. Got to get through and create some pressure on the quarterback, especially on 3rd and long.
1st and 10, Evanston from the 12. 2 receivers to either side again, and Roberts in the backfield with Morrow. Red Devils can get a first down inside of the 2. Send one man in motion. Now looking to throw is Morrow. Completes it to his receiver for a short gain. That's Jordan Mendez who gathers it in.
Nick McIntosh out there on the coverage for Riverton says, hey, I know this play. I run this play. Nice break on the ball. Nice open field tackle by McIntosh. Alone on an island there on the wide side of the field.
Nose of the football is on the 7-yard line. 2nd down and 5 from the Wolverines 7 now. Morrow under center. We'll give it to Roberts. Roberts goes left side, has some space, fights near the first down marker, gain of right about 5. Official's going to say first down, and it'll be 1st and goal.
Tough break for the Wolverine defense. So far bending but not breaking, but once you get a 1st and goal from inside the 2.
Brady Roberts has been busy. 16th carry of the ball game right there. He's got 66 yards, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him again soon. He's part of a 2-man set. In the backfield, it's just going to be Morrow on a quarterback sneak. Flag flies as the play starts. The official at the goal line says he was in, but I think we're going to get an Evanston penalty.
Is that a shift? If you have any of the offensive players who are not set moving around, everybody has to be set for at least a second before the snap of the ball. And that might have been what happened.
In the play, illegal motion, number 25. 5-yard penalty.
Here the head official will say illegal motion, 5-yard penalty. Will back Evanston up. Be big for the Wolverine defense, obviously, here to at least force a field goal attempt, but still first down and a lot of work to do. 1st and goal from the 7 now after the penalty.
At least that gives you a glimmer of hope. You have a little breathing room to say, okay, I have some space to make a play here.
3:45 to play, 2nd quarter. It's Evanston 13, Riverton 10.
We're going to get some more help here. That right guard moving inexplicably. I don't know what that was. He was raring to go, and the quarterback wasn't even under center yet. So that's a free 10 yards for the Wolverine defense.
If you're a Riverton fan, you hope they do that all night.
I will note there were 32 penalties. 32 penalties in the Red Devils' 0-week game. Obviously not all of them called on Evanston, but we're still working out the mental penalties a little bit here.
Was 1st and goal from the 2. Now it's 1st and goal from the 12 after back-to-back penalties. Morrow in the shotgun, flips it to Roberts. Roberts stretches it out to the right side. Another flag flies in after Roberts gains 3 or 4 on the carry, but we'll see what this penalty marker is about. 3 plays, 3 flags in a row.
Evanston's going to end up in Utah at this rate.
They're not far from the Utah border.
If it is a hold, I mean, that's 10. On top of the 5, on top of the 5. Starting 1st and goal from your own 2. And the Red Devils are backing up.
See some frustrated looks between the Evanston coaching staff here right in front of us from K. Fackrell Field, but still haven't had the indication yet.
Unsportsmanlike conduct. Red, number 3. 15-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That's on Drew Barker, another unsportsmanlike conduct. We've seen 2 of those blown against Evanston so far. And we'll back up even further.
15,
and it was 1st and goal from the 2. And 12 plus 15.
Now for the Wolverines, it's getting to the point where you can't let them score. I mean, how many times in a season are you going to have a team commit 3 consecutive penalties for 25 yards when they start 1st and goal from the 2?
Ball placed at the 23-yard line after 3 consecutive Evanston penalties. Morrow wants to throw, rolling to his left. He's got a man. It's caught. McIntosh with the tackle on Sanchez.
Jordan Mendez.
It was Jordan Mendez who made the catch all the way down to about the 10-yard line. So a completion of 13, and it'll bring up 3rd and goal.
It's a nice throw and a nice catch. McIntosh with some good coverage out there by himself, trying to recover a little bit, but he hadn't blown the coverage. He was right there in the receiver's hip pocket. Made a nice play to finish the play, to try to maybe knock the ball loose, force a fumble or an incompletion. Just an athletic throw and athletic catch there.
Obviously a big 3rd and goal coming up from the 10-yard line. Morrow has a receiver to either side, 2 in the backfield, and Evanston wants to talk about it before they snap it. They'll take a timeout with 2:34 to play in the first half.
Just to review the rule book there on the near sidelines. Here are the penalties we cannot commit. We've already committed 3 of them on this drive. Still a lot of work to do here. This is obviously 4-down territory at this point in the second half. Doubt Evanston would be satisfied with going up by 6, especially with the ball so deep still in the Wolverine territory. So you have to think of it in that defensive timeout right now like you got 2 plays. You got 2 plays to send us into halftime with a chance for the lead. We get the offense back, or we can have a large hill to climb out of the locker room in the second half. It's up to you guys over these 2 plays right now.
If you're watching along with us on the stream, encourage you to interact with us. Let us know where you're tuned in from, and we'll do our best to give you a shout out. It's been cool to have some folks doing that. We've had viewers in St. Louis, in Montana. We had a viewer in Colorado we said hello to. Also want to give a big shout out to my good buddy Rick and Rick's wife Kristen, viewing in Washington, D.C. I promised them I'd say hi all season long, so our viewership in the nation's capital. Big 3rd down coming up here out of the timeout. Red Devils back on the field first. Here come the Wolverines with 2:34 to play in the second quarter. Evanston holding on to that 13-10 advantage on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard right now. 3rd and goal from the 10. Morrow in the shotgun, and more whistles before we can get this one underway. This time it's a Riverton timeout.
Get those banjos out for the dueling timeouts here. Coach Lenhart. I like the strategy, though. You see what Evanston wants to come out in offensively and counter it a little bit, some of the chess match. But these are important moments. Game has gone about the way we thought it would, not in the way we thought it would, but the score on the scoreboard at the moment right now is just about as close as we thought, one way or the other. And this is pretty important. Riverton can put drives together at the end of halves. They did so in both the first 2 games, scoring drives with a minute and a half about or less, against Powell and Cody at the end of the first half in both those games. So your offense might be able to get some points. Can't count on it right here if you're the Wolverine defense, but they might be able to. But the question is the offense working with a deficit of 3 or a deficit of 10 to overcome?
I want to thank Lorraine viewing in. Lorraine is watching along from Gillette. And
hi, Lorraine.
Her son Zane played for the Wolverines from 2018 to 2020, so we're glad to represent Zane and be along part of your Friday night, Lorraine. 3rd and goal for Evanston here, we think, after a couple of back-to-back timeouts. Morrow is under center, 2 in the backfield, 1 receiver to either side. He will fake the handoff, now roll to his right. He's got a receiver open. That's Drew Barker in the end zone. Touchdown, Red Devils. Well executed, and Drew Barker was just alone there in the right corner of the end zone.
Yeah, you might have a blown coverage here somewhere, but you do have to give credit to the senior quarterback here for Evanston, Cohen Morrow. Some great footwork, throwing off his left foot as a right-handed quarterback after a nice play-action fake, rolling out and delivering a perfect ball to an open receiver on the money, on the run. And it will be a multi-score deficit that the Wolverines are going to try to chip into before the end of half here.
Extra point is up and through that time, so after that's complete, it is Evanston 20, Riverton 10 with 2:28 to play. Jordan Mendez with the extra point redemption after his last opportunity was fumbled away. And Evanston has once again doubled up Riverton on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard at 20-10. We have seen the Wolverines with kind of that quick strike before halftime before in this early season, and you got to think that any opportunity to put some points on the board or at least get some momentum going after that long Evanston drive would be beneficial.
Yeah, in both of those games, Powell and Cody, and in both cases, the Wolverines had less than they have to work with now on the clock. Able to move down the field in about 4 or 5 plays in a minute 20, minute 40. There's more than 2 minutes on the scoreboard right now. So, yeah, plenty of time for this Wolverine offense to get something going and chip away before halftime.
Want to give a huge congratulations and shout out to the Riverton High School golf team. They are conference champions. The conference event happened in Wheatland, and another big victory for the Wolverines. The state golf competition is held next week in Worland. Parker Paxton for the Wolverines, a senior looking to win 4 titles in his 4 years in high school. He's gone 3 for 3 so far, so good luck to all the Wolverines. The kick is a end-over-ender that was gathered in by Ty Sheets, brought to the 30-yard line where he's driven down, and that's where the Wolverines will start. 1st and 10 from their own 30 with 2:22 remaining before halftime.
Derek DeVries knows how to do this. The rest of the offense knows how to do this. They've proven this in the first 2 games of the season. Get a couple of nice throws, like that screen throw out to the flat that Riverton likes to run. Maybe work in a screen or a draw. This is not wishful thinking that Riverton is able to do this. We've seen it in both of the first 2 games at the end of the first half so far this season.
DeVries 5 of 10 so far, but has 150 yards, was helped a lot by that 60-yard Nick McIntosh touchdown catch. See if he's got some more yards in him. Looking for McIntosh. A lot of contact and in flies. A flag from the back judge. That'll help.
Yeah, this is a good call, as you'll see here on the Gambles replay, and what it is the extension of the arms. Coming across the middle. I think the underneath defender would have been okay had he not put both those arms out on the contact.
On the defense, number 2, 15-yard penalty. Give us a first down.
15 from the spot is going to be a big chunk.
It was Cohen Morrow, who plays both ways, obviously, and is lobbying with one of the officials, or at least discussing the play. 1st and 10 Wolverines now at their own 45. DeVries in the shotgun. 3 receivers to his left, 2 to the right. He looks to his left. He flares it out. It's completed. And a pickup of about 8. I think that's Clay Sheets. It is Clay's first reception of the ball game.
I'm starting to think that Clay is most happy as a receiver when he's off the ground, flying through the air, going up to high point the ball. Makes it very difficult to defend against, and a nice solid gain of 8. There's no panic in this Wolverine defense when it comes to hurry-up situations. Plenty of clock still left. But Riverton has a calm head about them in these end-of-half situations.
Just a perfect night weather-wise here, September from Evanston. It is clear skies, great temperature. We were about mid-70s when we kicked off. DeVries out of the shotgun again, instantly on the move, and the pass is over the head of McIntosh, out of bounds, nearly grabbed by one of the assistant coaches on the Red Devil sideline, and it'll bring up a 3rd down and 2. But after that 1st down pickup of 8 on a nice Clay Sheets reception, it's a much more manageable 3rd down.
Yeah, that's a difficult throw from DeVries, but you can see it just slipped out of his hands as soon as he released it. But to your point, Jared, instead of 3rd and 10 now, because of that 1st down pickup, you have obviously 2 down territory here if they don't lose any grounds, and a 3rd and manageable.
Yeah, whistles again before we start. 3rd and 2 coming up for the Wolverines with 1:54 to play in the 2nd quarter. DeVries fades to throw, looking for Saltzgaver off of his hands. Might have misjudged exactly how that ball was released to him. He kind of jumped and then had to go low to try to grab it. It's incomplete, and it'll bring up an interesting 4th and 2.
I think that's what it was, Jared. Sometimes on the release you can't tell where the ball's going to be, so you jump and it throws your catch off. But the Red Devils were just daring the Wolverines to throw it into the flat. There was nobody on that near side against the trips formation there within 5 yards of those 3 receivers.
Riverton indication is they are going to go for it on 4th down and 2. DeVries has 3 receivers to his right, 2 to his left. Empty backfield, wants to throw. Has it complete to McIntosh for a 1st down. McIntosh slips out of a tackle and is across the 35 down to the 33. first down Wolverines, and they pick up a fourth down conversion.
I think the Wolverines saw what we just saw here on that trips formation. Someone defensively smarter than me is going to have to explain to me the coverage here on that near side. There is nobody within 5 yards of these receivers. DeVries is going to see that and say, okay, I'll take it. Quick throw, first down.
Officials are going to stop play for another Wolverine timeout. So with 1:25 remaining second quarter, the Wolverines burn, I believe, their last timeout of the half. They've got it 1st and 10 from the Evanston 33-yard line. I've seen for the last few minutes that one of the big senior offensive linemen for Evanston has been on the training table. Stephen Bowen is getting worked on by the trainers, so we'll keep an eye on that situation. Looked like a leg injury potentially for Stephen.
I made the comment driving over here that I didn't think Evanston was big enough to run a 3-4. In person, I think I take it back. There are plenty of big boys to fill those three gaps up front. You can see why Evanston likes to do that, and then with their athletes run blitz from the 4 linebackers that they carry. But yeah, when you see these guys in person, there are plenty of big guys to take up space in that 3-4 for Evanston.
Red Devils on top of the Wolverines, 20-10 on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard. Wolverines driving, though, with 1:25 to play in the second quarter. They've got it at the Red Devil 33. They just picked up a big fourth down conversion. Derek DeVries back in the shotgun. Talon Tillman returns to the offensive side. They'll flare it out to Ty Sheets, who's got some space. Sheets gets near the first down marker on the left side. Official has it spotted right at the sticks. And we'll see if they pick up the first down or not, but still a very productive first down play for Ty Sheets, who's very speedy. They will say first down, and the Wolverines in a hurry-up offense. Snap to DeVries, looking to throw, really well protected. Double covered to Saltzgaver, incomplete, knocked away. And Cohen Morrow comes up, fired up after he tipped that football away.
Yeah, this is going to be a poor read by DeVries. It's his last read. He's looking left, looks back to the right, doesn't have anything. Tries to loft this over 4 Red Devils who are in the area, and his receiver on the read was double covered and with not a whole lot of room underneath. So a perfect throw there may result in something, but you can't make those decisions based on your ability to throw a perfect ball 22 yards down the field.
Football now on the Red Devil 23 with 1:06 to play in the second quarter. Second down and 10 coming up for DeVries in the Wolverine offense. Derek takes the snap from Mills. Well protected in the pocket. Wanted Sheets. It's tipped and picked off. Barker loses the handle after the interception. Goes to the turf to gather it back in. He's down at the 2-yard line. Forces the takeaway. We mentioned Evanston's secondary and how many takeaways they forced, and there is the first interception of the game.
Not sure if DeVries saw that lurker in red there. He did throw a good ball, and there's nothing you can do about it as a quarterback if the ball bounces off your receiver's shoulder pads. That was a good throw, but the defender was right there. Let me show you the wacky end of this play on the Gamble's replay. As you see after the interception, ball's going to come flying out. You think there for a moment that Riverton might be able to save the half, but the Red Devils fall on it very deep in their own territory now. Watch out for a safety.
Heads up play, Drew Barker there, and then a good play to get on the floor as there's some motion from a lot of Red Devils that's going to inch them closer to the goal line. So I guess if there's a silver lining for Wolverine fans is you've got them really deep in their own territory now as the football is just outside the 1-yard line.
Yep. It's obviously on the mind of the defensive coordinator as well as the quarterback and the running backs out there for Evanston. Do not fumble. Just get past the goal line.
Morrow under center will just plow ahead, and now he's got a little crease. He'll get all the way out to the 10-yard line. Quarterback sneak it for 9 yards. Cohen Morrow.
That gives Evanston some breathing room here to more or less sit on the ball, I would expect. I think either team coming into this game would be happy with a 20-10 lead, so no reason to risk anything crazy happening here for Evanston. Take their 10 points into the halftime locker room. That's what I would expect.
Morrow under center, just kind of letting some of that clock tick away, and we'll see what they do. Another quarterback sneak, and Wolverines trying to rip at the football, but Morrow will go down after a pickup of 4, and I think that may take us to the end of the first half. Clock does stop briefly on the chain adjustment, but they're going to walk off here as we will reach the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming halftime show. Interesting first half of football here from K. Fackrell Stadium at Evanston High School. The Red Devils on top of the Wolverines 20-10 as we've reached the intermission. We'll take a quick break, catch our breath for a moment. We'll come back with some first half stats. We'll also let you know some other scores of interest from across the state, and we'll preview the second half of action here. Once again, it's Evanston 20, Riverton 10 at the half. We take a timeout on 105.1 Jack FM and County10.com.
Looking for an upgrade to your vehicle? Wyoming 4x4 is the place to go for all your upgrade needs. From lift kits to bumpers, grill guards to bed liners, we've got everything you need to take your ride to the next level. We use top brands for our bumpers like Fab 4s, Ranch Hand, and Road and more. So get your vehicle ready and stop at Wyoming 4x4, or give Dan a call at 307-857-3175.
Redden, Kane & Associates, CPAs is your go-to source for tax, financial, and business solutions. Our experienced professionals are trusted and know the numbers. We're dedicated to providing personalized attention to each of our clients. Whether you're an individual or a business, we're here to help with all your accounting needs. Let us do the math for you. Stop in or visit rivertoncpa.com to learn more.
Myers Gambles is your one-stop shop for furniture, mattresses, and appliances in Lander, Wyoming. We have an unbeatable selection of furniture for your living room, bedroom, and dining room. Plus, we have the latest trends in home furnishings. Our mattresses are comfortable and affordable, and our appliances are built to last. Whether you're looking for a new TV, sofa, or refrigerator, we have the perfect finish, style, and function for your home. Visit us at 420 Main Street in Lander, or check out our website, landergambles.com. Today.
This guy was driving way over the speed limit. Look at the damage. This guy was going a lot over the speed limit. Look at the damage. This guy was going a little over the speed limit. Look at the damage. Friday.
Friday.
Friday? Friday.
How about Friday?
Friday. All right.
The weekend starts here.
It's a Friday tradition. Wolverine football is on the air. Here are Wolverine analyst Scott Fuller and the voice of the Wolverines, Jared Anderson.
Welcome you back here to Evanston High School. We have reached the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming halftime show, where the score is Evanston 20, Riverton 10, and Scott Fuller, some fireworks early for this Evanston offense. They scored the first couple of possessions. I thought Riverton settled in a little bit better as the game got going on, but still not where you want to be here halfway through the contest if you're in that Riverton locker room.
Well, I know it's frustrating for, I'm sure, the players and the coaches as well, because this Evanston team has a lot of talent, but they are not a mystery. They're going to want to run with those senior backs and Brady Roberts and Gabe Hutchinson. And that's exactly what they did. When they're not doing that, they're going to throw from Cohen Morrow to Kai Barker. All these guys are pillars of this Evanston team. They're all very great individual players. But if you can contain them, there's not a whole lot left that Riverton can't deal with. And yet, first thing out of the gate, right off the bus, Evanston is running the ball with Roberts, running it with Hutchinson. After that first drive, I think the run defense settled in just a little bit. And then the Wolverines did a much better job of adjusting defensively. They got their offense going a little bit. A couple of turnovers, and that's one of the things you were worried about heading into this game, because you know Evanston forced, I think, 4 or 5 turnovers in 0 week. They had 3 turnovers in the game last week. and they are reliant, their offense is really reliant on getting those turnovers for the ball control, run first kind of offense that they want to put forward. And so we were thinking if you can minimize some turnovers and deal with that defensive run blitz off the 3-4 that Evanston likes to do, then Riverton can be right there in the game. And they are. Not out of this by any means, but the first part of the first quarter especially did not go as planned for the Wolverines.
Total offense in this one at the half, these are very unofficial numbers. Evanston I've got with 301 total yards of offense already. Riverton 195. Riverton did put together a couple of good drives, lengthy drives. One in the first quarter that they came away with 3 points with. That was a Hunter Seltzgaver 25-yard field goal, their first score of the game with 1:40 remaining in the first quarter. They scored their first touchdown, their only touchdown at this point, with 8:33 remaining in the second. That was a big 60-yard touchdown pass from Derek DeVries to Nick McIntosh. Evanston's points first came on their first drive at 7:13 in the first quarter. It was a 25-yard Gabe Hutchinson run at 3:58 in the first quarter. It was Cohen Morrow from 69 yards out, basically just a quarterback sneak that he ran to the house. They missed that extra point, and then in the second quarter with 2:28 remaining, we saw a 10-yard touchdown catch from Morrow to Drew Barker. And I thought that series where Drew had that 10-yard touchdown catch was extra back-breaking for the Wolverines. There's still a lot of game left, obviously, but that was a little bit deflating there late second quarter because there were so many penalties that backed the football up. Riverton finally started to have some momentum, but Evanston was able to chip away and find the end zone.
Yeah, and I think the interception off the deflection as Riverton marched back down the field deep into the Red Devils' territory. That's kind of an unlucky pick when it goes off your receiver's shoulder pads, and that was a bit deflating as well because they were confident, just like they had in the first two games, that they could go down the field and take away some points before halftime. Riverton was. The good news here, Jared, is it's 20-10. It's not 40-10. It's not 30-7. The Wolverines are in this game. I think you look to Coach Lenhart to make some adjustments, and I think he has a bit of an advantage there because I'm not sure what there is for Evanston to adjust to from what they've already done. Evanston has shown us basically 2023 Evanston football. What we've seen on tape in the first two games is what they came out and executed very well. Obviously, they're up on the scoreboard, but there's not a whole lot more there when it comes to scheming on the defense or when it comes to offensive play calling. Whereas Riverton has a lot of tricks up their sleeve that they haven't shown yet, mostly because they haven't had the ball a whole lot there in that first half. So those offensive adjustments, I think you might see some interesting wrinkles that are worth showing here for a first win of the season if you're Coach Lenhart, that we have not seen so far this year. So be on the lookout for those. That might be interesting. And also just come out and don't lose the first half of the third quarter. Just come out. You're going to get the ball first after they deferred the opening coin toss. Riverton's football to start the third quarter. March it down and this time finish it. And from there, it's basically a low one-score game, and we're off to hopefully a foot race for the rest of this game. Could end up being a very fun game on a beautiful Friday night here, but you don't want to get in trouble and go down another score here if you're the Wolverines, especially on the road.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it is just a picture-perfect Friday night for anything outdoors. There's very little wind, clear skies here from Evanston, Wyoming. Scott, you and I had a nice 4-hour drive, so we got a lot of conversation and preparation for this one in. But at one point, you said, I expect a lot of points and kind of a shootout, and there were a couple of times, especially in the second quarter, where I thought this is going to break out into a shootout. Both offenses are kind of moving at will. Some turnovers and a few things prevented it from really turning into a shootout. But I get the sense that things could open up even more in the second half, and I think we could see a lot more points.
I really was confident that Riverton would have a good plan in place for that run blitz 3-4 that they're facing. It can be confusing for a younger quarterback, but that's not what the Wolverines have. It can be detrimental to a quarterback who can't throw very well. That is not a problem the Riverton offense has. I thought as soon as they got a look at that and saw which sides of the linebackers were going to blitz on maybe which situations, and Evanston doesn't disguise a whole lot of those run blitzes, they pretty much come. I thought that was going to open up a lot of those outside quadrants of the field for DeVries to throw to, and that was there. It just didn't quite click offensively for the Wolverines. It just wasn't a fluid machine, and it's there. And now that they've seen the scheme, maybe things will change a little bit here in the second half. I would like to see on this first drive, even if it doesn't result in points for Riverton, I want to see a sense of urgency, like coming out here as though we're trying to win the game, not coming out here like we're down 10 points.
Take a look at some scores of interest across the state, courtesy of wyopreps.com. Let's start on the 3A scoreboard. Game going on in Lander this evening that Wyatt Barijka's got for you on the County 10 Sports Network. Powell on top of the Lander Tigers, 37-0 at the half. Don't think a lot of people found that a surprise because Powell is a very high-powered team that a lot of people have high expectations for. Rollins is up on Green River early first quarter, 3-0. Cody and Worland kicked off about 20 minutes ago. Don't have a score reported from that one yet. Cody, the predominant favorite there, but we'll see if Worland can hang in there tonight. A couple other Fremont County games of interest. Wyoming Indian trails Riverside in the second quarter, 34-0. Shoshone is just underway with Grable on the road tonight. Unfortunately, Wind River and St. Stephen's had to cancel their game. St. Stephen's was unable to have a team, so they forfeited. The win goes to Wind River. The Cougars will pick up a scrimmage against an opponent coming up on Saturday. I don't have that in front of me, but I know they scrimmage somebody's JV tomorrow. And the big game to watch for tomorrow for Fremont County high school football fans is in 6-man with the number 1 team versus the number 2 team. That's Little Snake River number 1 hosting number 2, the DuBois Rams. That game is in Bags, 2 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. So if you just like interesting, fun football, 6-man's always unique and quirky to watch. And DuBois and Little Snake River should be in for a good fight tomorrow at 2. Also, while we're doing football plugs, I'll remind you here, a part of the County 10 Sports Network, that KOVE 1330 AM and 107.7 FM will have Wyoming Cowboy football tomorrow as the Pokes take on the Portland State Pilots, the first ever matchup in school history. 12:30 for the pregame show tomorrow. 2 o'clock is the kickoff. And then, Scott, I know you're excited about this, but Sunday the Denver Broncos are back. You got the Broncos and the Raiders. KOVE will have all the Bronco games all year long, too.
Excited is a word. I don't know if that's the correct word for what I am for Sunday, but
nerves.
It's something. It's a very ambiguous, nebulous kind of a emotion. I choose not to think about that on a beautiful Friday night like this. I don't want to ruin my time. I'll see your plug and raise you one, though. The County 10 Sports Podcast with yourself and Wyatt Barijka, out every Thursday, actually, but I tend to get around to those on Fridays. It's a perfect Friday afternoon way to get you ready for a weekend in Fremont County sports here during the high school football season. Obviously, a lot of Lander Tiger and Riverton Wolverine talk between the two voices of those teams, but it's fun to listen to unplug from the work week a little bit and get yourself in a Football Friday mindset. You can find the County 10 Sports Podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.
We'll have some more Wolverine teams represented on our broadcasts here as the season goes along. Obviously, we get to do the football games, which we're thrilled about, but a lot of other fall sports going on. We want to chat with the Wolverine golf team. They are conference champions and headed to the state tournament next week at Worland, so congratulations to the Wolverine golfers. They may actually be headed back on the bus right now, so if you're listening or watching along with us, congrats RHS golf team. Lars Flanagan, the head coach, and Parker Paxton has a chance to go 4 years in a row as a golf champion. He's got one more opportunity in high school coming up next week, which we're looking forward to. Also reached out to Coach Spriggs in the RHS girls swimming and diving team, who will be joining us part of the broadcast next week. Let's take one more time out before we kick off in the second half. At halftime, it's the Evanston Red Devils 20, the Riverton Wolverines 10. This has been the Buckle Up for Life Wyoming halftime show. We're back with the second half after this on 105.1 Jack FM and County10.com.
Wyoming Catholic College is a unique institution that offers an immersion in the Western tradition, the beauty and challenges of the wilderness, and the treasures of the Catholic spiritual heritage. Our mission is to provide a unique educational experience that nurtures the body, mind, and spirit. We are proud of our alumni success stories and the learning opportunities we offer through our academic outreach program. Come and explore our campus in Lander, Wyoming.
This is Maven, award-winning optics for the adventurous. From binoculars to spotting scopes, Maven has you covered. Be prepared for scouting, wildlife watching, or any outdoor adventure. As a proud sponsor of local high school sports, we wish all the Fremont County athletes the best of luck this season. Visit mavenbuild.com for more information and to order. Maven, discover something new.
Perfect. Watch the Wolverines on the County 10 YouTube page.
Evanston, Wyoming is the site on a beautiful Friday night. Jared Anderson and Scott Fuller with you. Big shout out to our guy Jason Peterson, who is bringing you the sights of this one. Jason running the camera from that Evanston student section in front of us all night long, making the trip and volunteering his time. So
he's putting up with a lot of TikTok on our behalf. So thank you, Jason.
I was going to say, he's going to be trapped in the vehicle for 8 hours with the two of us today, so Jason is the MVP of the broadcast just based on that alone.
Our wives wouldn't even do that.
We're just a few moments away. Actually, they put quite a bit of time back on the clock here at halftime. I don't know if they're going to let this wind all the way down again. It ran down to 0, and now they put 3 extra minutes back on the clock, but both teams are huddled around their head coaches. Again, Mark Lenhardt, obviously in his first year with the Wolverines, spent 4 seasons at Rock Springs, 8 seasons at Torrington, and for still a young guy, he's been head coach in Wyoming high school football since 2011. He's 46-31 overall as a head coach, or he was coming into this season, so I guess he's 46-32 now technically. Steve Moore, in his first year at the helm with the Evanston Red Devils, took over for Jim Burton. Burton had been the coach here at Evanston for the last 4 years. Fremont County fans know the name Jim Burton now because he took over at Lander Valley High School. Evanston is in their home red uniforms. If you're just tuning in, listening on the radio, they've got red, clean helmets, red all the way around the top, red jerseys, and blue pants. The Wolverines are in their road white uniforms, trimmed in cardinal red with the black helmet and the R logo. Again, thanks to YDOT and Buckle Up for Life Wyoming halftime show. Again, a good reminder to always wear your seatbelt, no matter how far or short your drive across Wyoming is. Always buckle up. Kind of awkward here as both teams were ready to go. Then they added some extra time. I see the officials kind of gathered in a corner. The head official is still taking his time getting over here, so we may utilize those extra 3 minutes after all.
Need the refs. See the other 4 making their way over here, but the referee is having some kind of discussion there on the far sideline. Mentioning Jared,
I kind of don't feel like that discussion's about a lot of productive happenings.
I'm not sure. I don't want to speculate.
Love the officials. I'm glad that they're here, but I don't know that looked urgent.
It is increasingly difficult to find high school officials. It's actually a hot-button issue for me that I'm pretty passionate about, that how hard it is to find referees for a lot of the different reasons for all the different sports, but they do enable the sports to be played. So if the guy wants an extra 2 minutes for an extra bite of hot dog, I'm fine with that.
You know what? That's well-deserved, absolutely. We thank the officials. Have been warned, too, that there may be some start time changes, not necessarily specific to Riverton, but all across Wyoming high school football. We saw a slight time change with the Cody game last week that went from 6 to 7 based on official availability. Tough job, and we certainly appreciate all of them.
You are looking for some kind of offensive spark here for the Riverton Wolverines. Even if it's a drive without points, I think I want to be convinced that this is a offense doing things intentionally that is well practiced. We heard good things about this week of practice, Jared, for the Riverton Wolverines. Not the first half that we were looking for, but it's not that far off. It feels like it's just a little bit off kilter here in the first road contest of the year.
Jordan Mendez has it teed up. Now we're ready to go, and the second half is underway. It's on a bounce to Nick McIntosh, who picks it up inside of his own 10. He's on the move, goes all the way across the field. McIntosh has some space. He's across the 30, outside of the 40, and knocked out of bounds. Good starting position again for the Wolverines on the Nick McIntosh return all the way out to the 43.
Yes, indeed. We'll take that. Nick McIntosh from Welby on the right hash all the way across his blocking formation. He was about 2.5 yards and one more Red Devil away from taking that to the house. And that's what we're looking for from their own 43-yard line. You see those offensive weapons, including McIntosh here on this drive, and get 7 points out of it.
First play from scrimmage of the third quarter. I see Ryan Cox in there lined up as a tight end. We'll keep an eye on him. DeVries is in the shotgun. He's going to fake the pitch. Actually, that's not DeVries. That's Blake Gattenbein at quarterback, and used that side that Ryan Cox was lined up on off of left tackle, off of the left end, I should say, and he'll pick up 2 on the rush.
Makes you wonder about DeVries' ankle, unless he's coming back on here.
Looks like he is, as he's right near Coach Lenhart, ready to run the play in. He did come up hobbling once, but
he still is.
Now he'll jog in, a little tender on that ankle.
Mentioned in that very first 0-week game when maybe he should have been taken out, how it was difficult to get him off the field. That's just a leader, senior quarterback.
Clay Sheets, Nick McIntosh out to the right side. DeVries in the shotgun, under pressure, dances around. Now he's going to run with it. Slips a defender right across the first down marker, and good individual effort. Derek DeVries, who on the ground with his own 2 feet, picks up the first down.
He really is feeling that ankle. You see here on the Gambles replay, waits a little bit too long in the pocket, but he does break the edge successfully. Doesn't even think about sliding because he knows he's got 3 more yards to get the first down. Head first dive, but he is really favoring that ankle.
Yeah, he just hurt from up here for him, but he did, like you say, power through it in that 0-week game against Powell. Just hope it gets better before it gets worse. Derek under center this time, full house backfield. Ryan is back there again. He's the lead blocker for Gattenbein. Gattenbein will get 5 yards on first down off the left side.
This is sometimes kind of harsh, but football is football, and seeing the quarterback hobbling there, you'll probably see more of that run blitz being fired up by Evanston as you did on that play. This is a great job blocking up front here, though, in the Gambles replay. That offensive line for Riverton nearly got that to the second level, and that's where you can turn that into a big play against a run blitz.
Been impressed with Ryan Cox defensively, and now I'm seeing him out there a little more active in the Wolverine offense. I saw him as one of the blockers there. Now he goes in motion and lines up in the backfield. Give it to Gattenbein again, and Blake gets a first down and a lot more. He's going to pick up 10 yards on the 2nd and 5, and the sticks move again for the Wolverines.
Is that our backup quarterback?
It is.
Look at this guy in the backfield. He's a little bit higher center of gravity as a taller backup quarterback, but he's not as balanced as a senior running back might be, but he is without fear of getting hit. He's just going to hit that hole, hang on to the ball, keep his feet going, and see what happens. Good enough for a first down there.
You and I had a chat with Wolverine assistant Derek Watson, and that's exactly the terminology he used for Blake. He said just coming in as a sophomore, doesn't have a lot of fear, and started at quarterback last week. Here's the snap to Gattenbein. Off the left side, he's got a first down and more. Gattenbein's down to the 15-yard line. So 3 running attempts by Gattenbein this series. And another first down for the Wolverines. Got a shaken up Evanston Red Devil on the Riverton sideline after the play.
Certainly hope he's okay. Looks like he's going to require some assistance to get from the far sideline back to his home bench. I'll show you this Gattenbein run to the left one more time on the Gambles replay. He's a more dangerous open field runner than he appears to be. And what you get from Gattenbein with DeVries apparently a little bit hobbled right now is that run game from the quarterback position. I do think just a senior-sophomore comparison thing, there are some balls that DeVries can throw that you want him in for. But Gattenbein does at least give you the option, while still being able to throw quite a bit, of having a mobile quarterback in there.
Tight formation, bunched up from the 16-yard line this time. Give us to Jordan May, who picks up a yard. Actually, that's Gattenbein again. I beg your pardon. I thought that was May back there, but it is Gattenbein again. It was Drew Barker that came up injured on the last play, and he is still down on the Wolverine sideline with trainers around him. Drew is one of the key names for Evanston to watch for, so hoping for the best there for Drew on the other sideline.
Wolverines trying to finish off this drive with a combination of two different quarterbacks to do it, but pretty important to get some points here in a methodical drive, first drive of the second half.
8 minutes, 30 seconds to play, third quarter. It's 20-10 Evanston on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard. Direct snap to Gattenbein, works the left side, had a step for a moment, but it closed quickly. Good job stringing it out by the Evanston defense, and a pickup of maybe a yard for Blake.
One of the things you like from under Coach Lenhart, the play calling here for Riverton, is when they find something that works, they are not afraid to do it again and again and again until it doesn't work. So that defense can figure out why they can't stop a particular look or a particular package or a play. You keep running it. It was sniffed out a little bit better there from Evanston. 4-down territory possibly here for Riverton, depending on this third down play, but they're looking to get that first down for a first and goal.
Evanston fans making some noise on 3rd and 7 from the Red Devil 13. DeVries wants to throw on the run on that hobbled ankle. He wants Sheets' diving attempt. It's just outside of Sheets' grasp, but I laid it all out there trying to get that one, but it does fall incomplete. Brings up 4th and 7, and I see DeVries going off right away, which indicates a field goal attempt coming up for Hunter Saltzgaver, who's been very good so far. Nick McIntosh will kneel down at the 20-yard line, so an attempt of 30 yards coming up left hash. Wolverine field goal unit readies. Saltzgaver's kick is up and splits the upright. It's good with 7:30 remaining in the third quarter. It's now Evanston 20, Riverton 13, and another field goal splits the uprights from Hunter Saltzgaver.
Story of the drive there is obviously the injury to your starting senior quarterback, Derek DeVries. He's still out there every other play thereabouts after he was injured. You could tell the aggravation back in the first half was bothering him on that ankle a little bit too, but he toughed it out, and they put some points on the board. And you didn't have any negative plays there. I mean, a lot of that was really simple play calling, just quarterback sweep off the left side, but it was working, and they got the ball far enough down the field to get in field goal range, cut that lead to a touchdown deficit. Now time for the defense.
Take 4.5 minutes off the clock on that drive, and Saltzgaver will boot it away, and the Red Devils will get an opportunity with the football for the first time this half. Next week, we will be on the road again. Our broadcast from Star Valley High School is Scott, Jason, and I will be in beautiful Afton, Wyoming, to see the top-rated team in the state in the Star Valley Braves. Saltzgaver has it ready to go. Hutchinson and Kai Barker are back deep for Evanston as the cheerleaders and Evanston student body vocal in front of us. On a bounce, Hutchinson will retreat to pick it up at his own 2. Now he's on the run with it. Goes up the middle as some daylight for a moment, but a nice Wolverine tackle will drag him down at the 28-yard line.
Much better job on the kick coverage all around today than in either of the first 2 games for Riverton. Makes such a huge difference in field position when the opposing offense has to start inside their own 30 as opposed to closer to midfield, especially a run-first team like Evanston.
1st and 10, Red Devils from their 28-yard line.
Here the public address announcer mentioned 1st and 10 from the 28. Cohen Morrow's squad back on the field. Morrow has 2 in the backfield. Receiver out to either side. Morrow fakes the handoff, now throws it to Cook, who drops the football, and the Wolverines are on it. It was complete to Cook, and Clayton, after a few steps, lost the handle. It's gathered in by the Wolverines, And coming out of the pile with it, the freshman Paxton Stevens, who we mentioned a few times in the first half, is on the football, and it's Wolverine ball with 7:18 to play at the Evanston 45.
I saw this jump play in warm-ups, this jump pass, and I was really curious where Evanston would use it. Don't see it a whole lot. This is a jump pass off the back foot. Actually works out really well until the end of the play there at the Gambles replay. You see the ball stripped free. Nice job by the Wolverine defense to force a turnover.
Wolverines trailing by 7. Take it back over. DeVries, well protected. Wants it all to McIntosh. Out of his hands. Well covered. And knocked out of there. Wanted Nick McIntosh. Had a pretty good throw. But Michael Kopp was there to break it away. Good defense by Kopp.
Just a little tiny bit underthrown. But McIntosh loves to go up and try to catch those. Usually pretty good with contact, too. That's a difficult catch. I like the first down shot play from about midfield, though, especially out of a turnover.
2nd down and 10 from the Evanston 45. DeVries out of the gun again, sends Ty Sheets in motion. Will flip it to Gattenbein, who picks up a positive gain on the right side of 4 before he's knocked off his feet.
It's that 3-4 run blitz on the Gambles replay coming from DeVries left here, and he's got something else in mind maybe on the right side of this play, but instead sees the blitz, pitches it out at the right moment. That's a block away from being a nice big chunk play as it was. Decent gain of 4.
3rd down and 6. Forthcoming for the Wolverines. 2 receivers split out to either side. Gattenbein again in the backfield with DeVries. DeVries off to the right side as Ty Sheets right across the first down marker. Sheets has got a pickup of 7, and it'll move the chains again. 1st down, Wolverines.
As a general rule, as a quarterback, you throw into the blitz. So if the blitz is coming from the left side, you throw it to your right side. And a little bit different when you're facing a 3-4 run blitz like that, but this is what DeVries does here on this play. Sees that pressure coming from his left, throws then, from his right rather, throws then to his right. And that's pretty dink and dunk textbook pass reading there.
Gattenbein in the backfield. Cox goes in motion as DeVries is under center. Give it to Gattenbein. Some trouble handling this handoff right away, and now it's on the turf again, but he dives back on it. So almost a loose ball situation there. Actually, it's not Gattenbein who got back on it. That was one of his offensive lineman. Aiden Sanchez is there to save the day.
Gattenbein's buying Mr. Sanchez a cheeseburger on the way home, I think. This is a hard hit that Gattenbein is going to be giving the ball up on. But how about the lineman right there on top of it? May well save a game on a play like that from offensive linemen who don't get their name in the paper, don't get mentioned enough on any broadcast, and that kept this drive alive.
2nd down and 7 as we close in on 5 minutes to play, 3rd quarter. Wolverines trailing Evanston 20-13. Coach Moore wanted a flag, and now he's finally going to get it. There was a little bit of a jump on that Wolverine offensive line, I believe.
Dead ball. False start. Offense. Number 18.
It's Gattenbein. Sophomore, and he's made so many big plays. We forgive him the mental error there, but he's lined up on the wide side to the near side here, off the line of scrimmage, makes a move forward, and can't do that.
2nd and 12.
Riverton has controlled the tempo and played most of this 3rd quarter on their side of the football field here as Sheets goes in motion. Derrick will flare it out to McIntosh behind the line of scrimmage. McIntosh turns it forward. He's to the 30 and finally gang tackled down to about the 29 with forward progress.
Love this play call. You're going to see Sheets coming in motion there, I believe it was, and he's just going to serve as a blocker overloading that zone that isn't accounted for by the defenders there on that far side. And some good pursuits of the ball is all that saved that play from being at least a 1st down by the Evanston defense.
Another big 3rd down play coming up from the 30-yard line. 3rd and 7 as the Wolverines break their huddle, and Mills will put his hand on the football to start the play as the Wolverines look back at their coach one time. 3 receivers, 2 to DeVries right side, 2 to his left. He throws it quick to McIntosh out of his hands and incomplete. DeVries now 10 for 21 on the evening, 200 yards, and an interesting 4th and 7 coming up now.
Yes, it is. Cover 2 here on this 3rd down. Throw it to the flat. It's usually there. It was just a bit off the wide receiver's hands. Running a simple 7-yard out and up and out.
On the field on defense. There are hundreds in the stands.
Feels like Wolverines will go for it here as DeVries is out of the shotgun again. He's got 2 receivers to either side. Gattenbein with him in the backfield, and now Coach Lenhart is going to signal for a timeout. So big 4th down coming up here, and we'll see if the Wolverines opt to go for it out of the timeout. With 3:37 remaining in the 3rd quarter, it's Evanston 20, Riverton 13 on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard.
And I'm fine either way. You're out of field goal range. If you're confident in your punter to coffin it inside the 5, which is asking quite a bit from any kicker, then that might be the prudent thing to do. But I do think, especially after the timeout, you're going to have what Evanston lined up in before the timeout defensively. If you have a specific play in mind that tends to work really well in practice against this look, and I think especially out of a timeout, you're going to see some of that run blitz pressure coming from the Red Devils, especially if they have DeVries back there who they think they might be able to get to with a bit of a banged-up ankle. But if you have a play that you like, this is one of those deeper crosses that could easily go for a touchdown. We've seen the Wolverines do that from the slot already this season. But this is obviously a later in the 3rd quarter, very pivotal 4th down play for these Riverton Wolverines on the road.
RHS offense is back on the field, looking to go for it on 4th and 7 from the Red Devil 30. DeVries out of the shotgun, 2 receivers to either side again, and Gattenbein with him in the backfield. Snap to DeVries. Steps up in the pocket, has a lot of time, looking to the end zone. It's caught! Touchdown! Nick McIntosh, and we're a PAT away from a tie game.
This is a great senior play by Derek DeVries. You did not get the pressure I thought you were going to see. The Red Devils showed pressure and then dropped everybody but 3. That's a lot of people in coverage. And Derek DeVries just allowing his receivers to move around in that secondary, bought enough time in the pocket on that injured ankle to deliver a perfectly thrown ball over the top for a touchdown.
Hunter Saltzgaver on for the game-tying extra point that splits the uprights. The officials say good, and we are tied at 20s. Wolverines trailed 20-10 at the half, and with 3:29 remaining in the 3rd quarter, it is a brand new football game from Evanston High School.
That's a huge play. Dial that up on 4th down coming out of a timeout. You worried, did I just waste a timeout if this doesn't work? Do we give the Red Devils, already up on the scoreboard, better field position than they should have? And that's a senior who you can't keep off the field. And Derek DeVries moving around in the pocket, looking at his receiving options. He doesn't panic. He doesn't try to get the first down on his own on that injured ankle. He waits, and a nice step up there in the pocket and delivered a perfectly thrown ball for the touchdown. So far early in this season, Jared, I think the play of the year for the Riverton Wolverines ties up Evanston on the road as we get ready for the final frame. It's still plenty of football.
Nick McIntosh, by the way, having himself a ball game. 7 receptions, unofficially 179 yards, and 2 touchdowns, one from 60 yards out, that one from 30 yards out. Saltzgaver's got it on the tee. Wolverines ready to kick it away with Hutchinson and Barker deep to receive for Evanston once again here as the sun sets in southwestern Wyoming. Little squib kick that takes a big bounce at the 40-yard line. It'll be fielded by one of the upmen. That's Sims with the football, and the backup quarterback actually has it across the 30 to the 31.
Get the feeling this game is going to come down to a drop ball or a spectacular catch or a forced fumble by either defense. These are very evenly matched teams. I mean, so far on paper, we were expecting basically 50-50 between who might be able to come away with this game, and here we are late in the second half, and we've got 20-20 on the scoreboard. It's a good opportunity for the Wolverine defense to show what they're made of.
Wolverines have controlled the tempo thus far in the third quarter. Most of the game's been played on this side of the field. First play from scrimmage for the Red Devils. They give it off to Roberts, who is off to the races. Roberts has a ton of space all the way down to the 25-yard line, inside of the 25, down to the 23 into Wolverine territory, and one big play from the Red Devils changes some momentum instantly.
That's just a good play call against a defensive scheme. Those two outside linebackers were edge set off of the defensive tackles just to make sure that one way or the other, nothing got outside of them. And we just got that quick handoff to the up man in the backfield that we've seen now 3-4 times from Evanston. It's very difficult to diagnose for the interior defensive line. So once that's coming at you, and if you miss on that front line, there's not a whole lot of help behind you, and the guys who are back there are smaller than the running back.
46-yard run for Brady Roberts. Two in the backfield. The pitch is to Hutchinson. Hutchinson makes one man in the backfield miss, but he's stuck by another Wolverine defender. He'll lose a couple.
We have seen a lot of big plays from both teams. Both offenses able to reel off a big play, and that's what it does. It feels like a mistake, a penalty, a miraculous catch. Some kind of game-defining play is coming up here, maybe at the end of this quarter, and maybe in the fourth quarter to come.
-4 on the carry. I think that was Tyree Harris-Aragon that stuck him first. He was in on the play. And I'll apologize to some of these defenders if I don't get those names correct or who makes the play correct, but Tyree was definitely in there. They give it to Roberts, who gets a gain of maybe 4 back, so he's right back to the line of scrimmage before the loss, and it'll bring up a third down and 10.
Gamble's replay here. This is the same play that got them 40, and the difference between a gain of 4 and a gain of 40 is the play you're going to see right here on the interior defensive line. Being able to see the ball, see the handoff, and make the wrap up. It's an easily defended play if you can see it on the interior defensive line.
Ball is at the 23, third down and 10. Morrow running to his right side, has a receiver. Kai Barker's got a first down and more. Kai is inside of the 10 and knocked out of bounds.
Not a whole lot you can do about that. A receiver like Kai Barker, who's probably the tallest player on the football field, going up to make the play especially. A little bit of a missed tackle there on the first attempt. Gave up a couple more yards, but Kai Barker is also who I'm throwing to on a fade right here, because I don't know how you defend against a 6'4 receiver with the mentality that he has to go up and get the ball through a brick wall.
Only problem with your philosophy is Kai gets a breather on this play. 1:20 to play third quarter. They place it at the 7 where Kai was knocked out of bounds, but man, he is quite the weapon to have in the arsenal of Cohen Morrow. Brady Roberts is too. He's going to take the handoff, tripped up right away, picks up maybe one, but not much more than that. If he gets one on the play, it'll be second and goal.
It's a good example of unheralded defensive line play on the Gamble's replay. He's going to trip over his own man, the back is, and his offensive lineman was on the ground because a Riverton defender put him there.
Tied at 20, inside of a minute to play third quarter. Evanston driving at the Riverton 7, second down and goal. Morrow under center again. He's got Hutchinson and Roberts in the backfield. They'll fake it to Hutchinson. He's got Barker wide open in the end zone. Touchdown, Evanston Red Devils. With 35 seconds to play in the quarter, Evanston has retaken the lead on a 7-yard touchdown pass. Cohen Morrow to Kai Barker.
Once you're that deep in your own territory defensively and you have to defend against a receiver like Kai Barker, it's very difficult. Not sure if that was supposed to be a fade or not. Didn't need to be. Just throw it up there and he will find a way to make a play.
Jordan Mendez is on for the extra point attempt. Hold is good. Kick looks good, it is good, and Evanston has reclaimed a 7-point lead here on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard. It's Evanston 27, Riverton 20 with just 35 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
I guess we finally got some of our shootout here in the second half. Teams trading touchdowns in the third quarter. And how much more of that, and what is that defining moment on either side going to be coming up here in the fourth quarter?
That 46-yard Brady Roberts run was huge to start that drive. A nice 17-yard completion from Morrow to Kai Barker, and then the 7-yard pass back to Kai Barker to cap it off.
36 seconds left on the third quarter clock. Riverton set to receive the kickoff.
I want to thank Goddard Construction, a proud supporter of Fremont County Athletics. Goddard Construction offers friendly construction services that are always on time and aligned with your budget. Call Goddard Construction, 851-4517, 851-4517. Mendez will kick it away for Evanston once again here as it was a little deflated out of the student section to start the third quarter, but they are back on their feet and making some noise now. End-over-end kick will send Sheets all the way back to about the goal line. He won't go into the goal, though, as he'll bring it out, and Sheets will cross the 20-yard line down to about the 22, where Riverton will start.
Quarterback situation is worth keeping an eye on again for the Wolverines. Derek DeVries suffering an ankle injury of some kind on the very first play of 0 week. Sat out last week against Cody precautionarily. Looked fine heading into this game, and the coaching staff was very hopeful, but may have been re-aggravated on that ankle at some point in the first half, so he has been immobilized a bit. He is still out there playing here and there, along with, of course, sophomore backup Blake Gattenbein, and they can both almost switch here, Jared, to a two-quarterback system as they can both serve different purposes for you offensively.
Both of these teams looking for their first win of the young season. DeVries, bunch formation, misdirection to Sheets. Sheets has a lot of room. He's across the 40 and picks up a first down.
Misdirection. Fake the action to the right side here on the Gambles replay, and it's going to be Gavin Sheets taking the ball to the left on a bit of a counter. A little pull there, yeah, and this is a touchdown-saving tackle by the single high safety for the Red Devils. Otherwise, running back is off.
And the Wolverines, with 12 seconds on the third quarter clock, are just going to head over to the sideline. So we have reached the end of 3, and on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard, it's the Evanston Red Devils 27, the Riverton Wolverines 20. Should be a fun last 12 minutes of regulation. Come on back with us after we take a timeout. You are watching the Wolverines on County10.com and listening on 105.1 Jack FM.
Perfect Power is a proud supporter of athletics and student athletes all across Fremont County. Perfect Power provides services for residential, commercial, and industrial jobs. Darren Hubble, owner and master electrician, has over 30 years of electrical experience. Darren's trustworthy team of professionals can get the job done right. Perfect Power, serving Fremont County and surrounding areas. Stop into 1320 West Main Street, Lander, or give them a call at 307-332-7184.
Broadcasting across the Rendezvous City, Riverton Football is on 105.1 Jack FM.
Jared Anderson with you. Scott Fuller to my right. Jason Peterson manning the camera from Evanston High School, K. Fackrell Field, where the sun is gradually setting on a beautiful Friday night for some Wyoming High School football. It's Evanston 27, Riverton 20 as we begin the fourth quarter. Just saw Ty Sheets with an outstanding 12-yard run. The first play of this Wolverine drive. See what they have dialed up here to start the fourth quarter. DeVries wants to throw. Play action. Roll out to his right. He's got a man. It's caught across the sticks. A gain of 11 for number 11. That's Ty McIntosh again with his 8th catch of the game.
That's a beautiful rollout. Nice throw to his right. I was a little bit worried he waited too long to let this go, but he was just letting DeVries the defense fall behind a little bit, let his receiver get just a touch more separation before he could deliver that ball only where his receiver was going to catch it. Makes that play look so easy.
Just after 8 o'clock at KTUG Riverton, 105.1 Jack FM. Also, welcome our audience on County 10's YouTube and Facebook pages. Appreciate all the comments. We'll give some more shout-outs if you drop us a line. Let us know where you're tuned in from.
It's going to be number 3 for the Wolverines, I think.
First charge, second charge, timeout.
Number 2.
The PA guy was confused as well. Initially said first charge timeout, then changed it to the second charge timeout. So I think that's the second for Coach Lenhart. And a timeout Wolverines just 22 seconds into the fourth quarter. Margaret checking in, said go Big Red, go Wolverines. DM checking in on the YouTube page as well, saying let's go Wolverines. Appreciate those comments on the stream and your supports. Also, say hello to Paul watching along. Paul says go Big Red. Thanks to Perfect Power Electric for making the live stream possible. And coming up at the conclusion of this game, we'll get into our Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show. Hope to have Coach Lenhart up here. We'll run down all the final statistics, and we get the pleasure of handing out the Tyler Watson State Farm Player of the Game in a little bit as well. I know there's a few candidates, but as I look at my
courses today too.
Look at my stat sheet. I've got one kind of running away with things, and then I've got another youngster in the back of my head. Wolverine football out of the timeout. DeVries rolling to his left, wants Sheets. It's complete for a short gain. Sheets is slammed by Kai Barker to the turf on the near sideline, but picks up a short gain of 3 on the reception out of the timeout.
Tiny details of the short passing game here. You're going to want this ball delivered a bit more on a line than it was, and then you saw at the very bottom of the screen on the Gamble's replay, maybe a little extra tackle action out of bounds that I have seen called at higher levels of football than this.
I don't know what I was looking at when I said gain of 3. They'll give him 1. Thought he had a couple more than that, but just 1. So second down and 9. DeVries out of the shotgun will run it up the middle. DeVries keeps his legs churning. He's got a first down and a little bit more. He's inside of the 40 all the way down to the 36-yard line. And Derek DeVries on one bad ankle makes another nice play.
Yeah, he's doing this on an ankle. And I like the play call, I guess, because it's the last thing that Evanston's going to be expecting. The maybe injured quarterback taking it right up the middle, but successful for a first down. You get the feeling that Derek DeVries is one of those guys that would give one of his toes for a first down in the right situation.
We've played 90 seconds into the fourth quarter. Evanston leads by 7, 27-20. And it is the Wolverines on the move. The handoff is to Gattenbein. Gattenbein fights for any sort of space on the left side of that line. It's closed off nicely by Evanston, but he salvages a yard or 2 out of the play.
This whole game has been just jabs by each offense back and forth, and then the occasional haymaker. And very methodical Riverton drive, being pretty conservative with the ball. Don't want to make any mistakes against an Evanston team that is defensively prone to forcing a lot of turnovers, including one already against the Riverton offense. So make sure you take care of the ball all the way down the field and find a way to match up and even up the score.
Second down and 8.
Interesting formation here.
3 in the backfield, offset. DeVries wants to throw, though. Rolling to his right, he's got Saltzgaver. Saltzgaver picks up a first down and a gain of 9 for Saltzgaver. That's Branson with his first reception.
I love this play call out of this formation because it's simple and yet unexpected. DeVries needs to throw this ball right now. Throw it now. Give your receiver some field to work with, but his receiver was plenty open for the first down.
DeVries out of the shotgun. Gattenbein in the backfield. He's got 3 receivers. Branson Saltzgaver, Ty Sheets, and Clay Sheets to his left. He's got McIntosh alone to his right. Now Gattenbein will switch sides and stand on his right side. DeVries fades to throw, looking for McIntosh. It's complete, and another Wolverine first down as McIntosh is inside of the 15.
Nick McIntosh has a football-shaped indentation in the front side of his shoulder pads. This was a bullet stepping into it and on the money. You can't throw a ball like that on a receiver's hands. Too tough to catch with that kind of velocity. But if you put it right on their numbers, it sticks right to them. That was a great route by Nick McIntosh, too.
Gain of 13, so they cut the distance in half. They were at the 26. Now it's 1st and 10 from the 13. DeVries out of the gun, directing some traffic. Now Sheets in motion will come and stand with him in the backfield. He'll flip it to Sheets to the right side. Sheets, little stutter, tries to find any sort of room, but Evanston is quick on the defensive pursuit and no gain on the Ty Sheets carry.
Evanston, a very fast defensive team, side to side on those edge pursuit plays. Don't think I saw that on film as much as it pops out in person, where if you give them any kind of timing difficulty at all, if there's a misstep in the backfield, if a throw in the flats just a little bit late, they have plenty of speed to make it up. More often than not, they're making that play close to the line of scrimmage.
Riverton has largely dominated the time of possession this half. We're inside of 8 minutes to play in regulation. Riverton down by 7. On the move, 2nd and 10 from the 13. DeVries under a lot of pressure, and down he goes. First sack of the ball game for Evanston. A group effort, and DeVries is going to lose about 7.
Obviously, something is wrong with the blocking scheme on this play. DeVries' back, his blocking back is to his left, who I think was going to chip and go, meaning he was going to block a little bit and then release, but the back was looking at the left side, and all that pressure was coming from DeVries' right side.
3rd and 18 coming up, so officially a loss of 8. And a big play for both teams as we're inside of 7 minutes to play. 2 receivers to either side, 1 in the backfield, and a motion penalty. It's going to be a false start against Riverton, it looks like.
Yeah, they are marching backwards. I was hoping you might get an inducement call here where the defender moved first, but the defender, from a 2-point stance where he is standing on 2 feet, is able to move at will. And if the offense moves in accordance with him, that's on them. So a 5-yard penalty against the Wolverines right when they did not need it.
3rd and very long, 3rd and 22 officially from the 25. DeVries with time to the end zone. McIntosh again! Nick McIntosh, touchdown Wolverines! 3rd and 22 and the Wolverines finally in zone.
I mean, you have to see this coming if you're Evanston, because this is Riverton's favorite play. I mean, irrespective of situation, I don't know how Nick McIntosh came down with that ball. The official there, the back judge, took a long look at Nick McIntosh on the ground before he raised his arms to signal touchdown. He was being persuaded and lobbied by the Red Devils in the secondary there, too. What a throw, and what a catch, and what a moment to have it.
Saltzgaver, important extra point, is perfect again. 27-27 on the Fremont Chevy scoreboard with 6:31 to play.
See this pass one more time. Nick, from the top of his drop, throwing right over the defender. Nick McIntosh coming down with it. Yeah, that wasn't as far in the back of the end zone as it looked in live action. I think there may have been 2-3 feet there before the back of the end zone for Nick to work with. So I think, yeah, he easily came down with 1 foot there, maybe 2. But to go up and make that play with your momentum carrying you in the opposite direction, it's just a fantastic play. DeVries to McIntosh is the Riverton Wolverines offense secret recipe. Not so much of a secret anymore, especially after this game, I think.
I don't know what the rest of your Friday evening plans look like, but if you're tuning in right now, I'd encourage you to stick around, because I think the next 6:31 of regulation are going to be extra interesting in this one. 27-27 tie ball game once again, and Hunter Saltzgaver is ready to kick it away for the Wolverines, with Hutchinson and Barker headed back to receive.
Where's that moment going to be? And who's going to make the play in that moment to make the defining difference in this game?
Saltzgaver with one hand in the air, readies his troops, attacks and kicks the football away. It's booted to Hutchinson. Hutchinson will go to the other end of the field, all the way from the right side to the left side, and is tackled before he crosses the 30. He will set up the Evanston offense at their own 28.
Offense, defense, special teams, I like Riverton's kick coverage as the most improved after a week of practice. Evanston has not had a whole lot to work with in starting field position after kickoffs.
This is just Evanston's third possession of the second half, and you'll remember one of those possessions was short-lived with a fumble recovery. 6:22 to play, fourth quarter tie ball game. Morrow stands in the shotgun. Pair of receivers to either side. Roberts has been fantastic. He's with him in the backfield. Fake to Roberts, air it out to Barker, who's got a first down. Gain of 14. Morrow to Barker, and Kai has certainly asserted himself in this game and most of the season as the favorite target for Cohen Morrow.
Play's not fair. Just a quick play fake and a quick throw like that to a receiver like Kai Barker. Very good tackle there by the lone safety up there for Riverton, because that's a touchdown otherwise.
1st and 10, Red Devils from their own 44 after the first down pickup. Morrow's under center this time. Backfield, and he'll give it to Hutchinson. Hutchinson is wrapped up right away and then driven backwards. Great job by a number of Wolverines to push the pile backwards. And Paxton Stevens again in there with the final job of wrapping him up and driving him down to the turf.
Wolverines show blitz, and they weren't bluffing. They bring 7 guys on that run blitz. And no hot read, no adjustment made by Evanston there. It's usually a play where you can throw slant and do some damage, but they tried to run and did not work out.
Paxton, a 5'11", 165-pound freshman, has made a lot of noise for the Wolverines tonight. Morrow on the run. He's looking for Sims, and it's out of his hands, incomplete. Going to bring up a 3rd down and 10 on the incomplete pass.
Let's give some kind of a defensive shout-out here for the Riverton Wolverines on this Gamble's replay. This angle of pursuit is going to be Prosser, who's playing after returning from injury. But you're going to see him not make the tackle, but the angle of pursuit he takes to the quarterback here forces Morrow out further to his left than he wanted. It adjusted the throw, made it more difficult to catch, led to an incompletion.
3rd down and 10 for the Evanston Red Devils. Morrow's in the shotgun, sets up this screen. Nice little dump off. His intended receiver is going to be out ahead of the first down marker just barely. He picks up a gain of 12 on the play. I'm struggling to find who that was. First reception of the ball game for Brady Roberts. Roberts, a senior who comes in and makes his first catch at a great time.
It's a nice play call too there. Screen when it works like it's supposed to. Screen can be the ugliest or the prettiest play in football, and that worked out exactly as it was drawn up. It was read pretty well by the Riverton second level, but enough open space there for a Red Devil first down.
1st and 10, Red Devils from the 44 of Riverton now. Morrow in the shotgun has Barker. Barker's going to pick up another first down and more. He's to the 20, the 15, knocked out of bounds at the 10. Touchdown, saving push out of bounds, but a big pickup there for Kai Barker. Jackson Larson saved the touchdown.
It is Ty Sheets' job coming across this play, number 2, to make the play in order to save a big gain, and that's a long way for a very fast, talented athlete to run. He just couldn't get there. He was 6 inches away from grabbing the back of the shoulder pads and just couldn't make the play to save the extra 20 yards.
For the Red Devils.
1st and goal. Ball is right at the 10-yard line with 4:44 to play in the ball game. Wolverines hoping for a big defensive stand here. 2 receivers either side. Roberts in the backfield as he has been most of the night. The give is to Roberts. He's swarmed under in the backfield by the Wolverine defense. He'll go backwards a yard.
It's a Prosser in there again, number 53 for Riverton. It is. He's one of 3 or 4 Wolverines who were not fooled at all on this simple draw play. winning at the point of attack, blowing the play up from the inside of the defensive line and trying to force it out. There's not a running back that we're going to play this year that can make a play with that kind of defensive win at the line of scrimmage.
Good to have Zarek Prosser back after his injury last week. 2nd and goal from the 12. 4:07 remaining. It's 27-27. Riverton and Evanston tied on the Fremont scoreboard. 2 in the backfield for Morrow. He's under center this time. Receiver to either side. They'll pitch it to Hutchinson. Hutchinson loses the football. It's still on the floor. Long pursuit for it. And I think Evanston got back on top of it.
Oh, my goodness. This is that moment. This is that defining play that you're looking for. Deep in your own territory. Defense, not so much as forcing a turnover, is just a very mental error there by Hutchinson, who's a senior. He's carried the football a lot. Coming out of the game right now after that. If nothing else, Jared, this makes play calling and executing here with 2 plays left, maybe if they choose to go for it on 4th, a lot more challenging for Evanston.
It was a loss of 5. It's 3rd and goal from the 17 with 3:15 now to play in regulation. Morrow in the shotgun, takes the snap, rolling to his right, surveying the floor to the end zone. Touchdown. That's Barker. Drew Barker puts the Red Devils back on top with 3:08 to play.
Well, you got to give credit to a senior quarterback when he makes a nice play. Give some credit to the Red Devil offensive line. You're going to see some extra help here off the right tackle. That back coming in to shore up that wall on the right side to give Morrow just a little extra time. Everybody in the building is looking for Kai Barker on that play. But it's a secondary look for Evanston that gives them the touchdown and the late second half lead.
Jordan's extra point is a little bit lower, but still through the uprights and good. And Evanston is back up by 7 with 3:08 to play. It's Red Devils 34, Wolverines 27. And a big-time play by Cohen Morrow to Drew Barker.
So we have that situation here for Riverton where it's the end of a half. Now, the end of our previous 2 fourth quarters haven't mattered a whole lot when it comes to the scoreboard. But in all 3 of those end of first half drives here in games 0, 1, and 2, the Riverton Wolverines have shown that they can move down the field and they can put points on the board. Can they do it with the game on the line? Can they do it? Can this offense put that together, execute a game plan without mistakes, and find that big play somewhere 40 yards down the field at some point in this drive and answer back and tie this game? This is the biggest test of the season for the Riverton Wolverine offense.
Nick McIntosh has 3 touchdown catches for the Wolverines, 2 field goals from Hunter Saltzgaver. They need 7 at least. You would expect this trip down with just 3:08 remaining and 1 timeout for the Wolverines to keep that in mind.
Plenty of time. Can't have a mistake. Can't lose too much ground on a 2nd and 8 or 9 and force yourself into a 3rd and 14. DeVries to McIntosh might work in that situation. It might not. You just need that 4 yards per play until you can find that haymaker, until you can find that 40 yards down the field, which might well, on a first down, be DeVries to McIntosh. We'll see.
Sheets and McIntosh back deep. They're going to kick it on the turf, though, and it'll be gathered in by McIntosh finally as it squirts back to him. McIntosh across the 30 and will be tripped up at about the 33, where the Wolverines will take over now with 3:02 to play.
We've had kind of a 2-quarterback situation, but I would be shocked if you don't see DeVries on the field here in this 4th quarter late game drive situation. I think you would have to duct tape him to the training bench to keep him off the field in this situation.
And like you said, I think with 3:02 remaining, the playbook's still open for maybe a draw play to Gattenbein in the backfield or even a screen pass we've seen work successfully. DeVries with Gattenbein in the backfield, 2 receivers to either side. Short drop, looks to throw. He's got Sheets along the sideline who receives it, gain of 8, and a late flag flies in right in front of the Evanston bench, which is interesting because there's not a lot of players around the Evanston bench.
It's going to be a call on a bench player for unsportsmanlike? Is that possible?
Looks like a bench warning. Does that go as an unsportsmanlike conduct? We'll try to pick up the official here in a moment.
I mean, it was way too late in the play for an illegal substitution. And from where that flag is,
sideline warning. Evanston. First sideline warning of the half.
So no yardage, just the sideline warning to the Evanston sideline.
That's the players on the sideline getting a little too exuberant and close to the sideline. You have to stay behind the white, big white sideline there.
After the 7-yard tie sheets pick up, it'll be a 2nd down and 3. Something unique with the chain crew happening on the far side of the field is there may be, actually there's an injured player. At first I wondered if it was a member of the chain crew, but they've just got the sticks down because they are tending to an injured Evanston player who is down right in front of the chain crew. And there's a Red Devil over there amongst the crowd that's slow to get to his feet. Looks like that's Cole Robinette.
This is a free timeout for both teams. Not a whole lot of momentum to kill yet on this drive for the Wolverines. Is this what more or less what you were expecting from this one?
I think so. I think both teams entered this game feeling like they could win it. I didn't expect quite the shootout, but that's to an extent what we've got here at 34-27. Evanston on top, 2:56 to play, and it's 2nd and 3 Wolverines from their own 40. DeVries works out of the shotgun this time. He's got Gattenbein in the backfield with him. 2 receivers to either side. DeVries is going to run with it. He's got a 1st down and more. It barrels near the 50-yard line, is drugged down at the 48. And a 1st down rush of 7 for Derek DeVries.
There's the lead blocker with him in the backfield and help from his center and 2 guards as he goes right up that A-gap on the right side, it looked like, here on the Gambles replay. That's all you need is that yardage and then a couple more there for a 1st down. They still have 4th down on the yard marker, but it better be 1st. There we go.
Clay Sheets and Nick McIntosh to the left, 2 receivers to DeVries' right side. He'll go to the right, and that's Sheets on a knee, making the catch, gain of 6 on 1st down.
Nice focus going to the ground. Hand placement for a receiver is so important on a throw like this. Not a lot of yardage, but getting your hands underneath the ball so all the momentum of the ball goes right up into your body.
DeVries will take it and run with it again. He's got another 1st down. Maybe the official puts him down just a little bit earlier than I expected him to. He's right at the marker. Now he will signal 1st down.
I can't imagine that his ankle is feeling very good, and probably hasn't since he played Powell on the first snap of 0 week. But he is stepping up, literally calling his number to get those last Riverton 1st downs here. This is obviously a game-defining, some might even say a season kind of defining drive for the Wolverines, and DeVries is right there leading.
DeVries out of the shotgun, rolling to his left, looking to Clay Sheets out of his grasp, incomplete. And the incompletion will stop the clock, bring up a 2nd down and 10 from the Evanston 43 with now 1 minute 40 seconds remaining in the 4th quarter. Again, if you're just tuning in, Evanston on top of Riverton 34-27.
See DeVries a couple of times here today. Maybe it's the ankle waiting just a little bit too long to make these short throws. You got to give your guy a time to make an adjustment, make a catch. And I think on that one you may have had Clay Sheets here on the footsteps of Michael Kopp pretty loudly as he knew that that ball was hanging in the air and number 1 in red was coming down the mountain for him.
3 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. DeVries drops back, sets up a screen pass. Flag flies in to start the play. Gattenbein's got some space, is gathered in by Kai Barker after a gain of 8 or 9, but we'll see what that flag's about.
In the meantime, here on the Gambles replay, let's give DeVries some credit for creating good timing here. You don't lob that ball. The play's already set up, so he threw that in there pretty quickly to give his back some time to work with. Still waiting on the indication here.
You couldn't tell. Official says holding on the Wolverines, and they're going to march it all the way back into Wolverine territory to the 47, where it brings up now a 2nd and 20.
There's Harris Aragon, I think they got on the hold. That's frustrating on a screen pass because you're not supposed to hold him. You're supposed to hit him and let him through.
Coach Lenhart adamantly coaching his guys on now, 2nd and 20. See if they can pick up a chunky yards here. DeVries looks to his right and picking up a gain of 8 is Branson Saltzgaver on his 2nd reception of the night. Really like Branson and Clay Sheets, and I feel like with the 1-2 punch of McIntosh and Ty Sheets, Branson Saltzgaver has an opportunity to be a really good change of pace receiver, if that makes sense, and get freed up every once in a while. So nice to see him in some action with 1:10 to play in the 4th quarter. It is now 3rd down and 12. Wolverines from the Red Devil 45-yard line. 1 in the backfield, DeVries in the shotgun, 3 to his left, 1 to his right. 3-man front for the Red Devils. DeVries wants to throw, looking for Sheets, and incomplete. Wanted Clay Sheets, who got tangled up, fell to the ground, and it's going to bring up a all-important 4th down and 12 with 1:06 to play.
DeVries has a corner blitz coming from his right. Usually you want to throw the ball in that direction then. And you wonder what would have happened if he would have tested that single coverage there on the right side. It looked pretty open on the Gambles replay, but DeVries was looking for something else. Here we go. 4th down and 12
of the game. 1:06 to play. 3 to the left, 1 to the right. Coach Lenhart, I saw him the whole way ready to take a timeout, and there is the signal, the final timeout for the Wolverines. And obviously, if you got to burn it, you might as well on what is so far the most important play of the game.
Yeah, this is going to be it. All you need is a 1st down. Keep that in mind. We don't need to go all kinds of hook and ladder crazy to try to get 40 yards down the field. You just need 12 yards. Wolverines have plenty of plays in the mid-range passing game that can get that for them. And I guess at this point, it's just ask your guys, what do you like here? What's soft? What do you see open there in the zones? What's been there all day that we haven't exploited yet? And need some good execution up front, too. Need a lot of time for DeVries, presumably, to make a 10-plus, 15-yard throw is what everyone's going to be expecting here. Also curious to see if Evanston brings any pressure. A lot of coaches in these big moments like to bring 4th down pressure, especially when it's 4th and 12, 3rd and 12. But 4th down. Game comes down to this one. It's going to be difficult for Riverton with no timeouts to make anything out of this if they don't get this conversion.
Both teams back on the ball. 4th down and 12, 1:04 to play. DeVries out of the shotgun. 3 to his left, 1 to his right. Gattenbein in the backfield. DeVries. Something broke down at the start of the play. DeVries just took it and ran with it, gained 2 and was tackled. That was an awkward-looking play, and Evanston's going to take it over on downs.
You know what I'm going to say here is this play might be on 2. And the center snapped it on 1. That's kind of the way it looks. As you saw the receivers standing there on the snap of the ball, it would make sense. Riverton trying to get a free 5 yards to make this play a little bit more manageable. That play might have been called on 2, and the center snapped it early. That's speculation, but that's what it looked like. That's a disappointing way for this game to end if it does end up the final score as a result of that play.
Yeah, it definitely is. Good competitive football game, but some heartbreak for Wolverine fans for sure as they're out of timeouts. And with 58 seconds to play in the game, it would appear a couple of kneel downs away from Evanston picking up their first win in the season and the first win for their brand new head coach, Steve Moore. We'll see what Evanston elects to do here as they get on the ball, but I think all they've got to do is take a knee at this point. And that's the formation. So heartbreaking loss for the Wolverines, it would appear. They'll fall to 0-2 officially, 0-3 if you count the 0-week game, with a tough trip to Star Valley next week. There's the first kneel down from Cohen Morrow. impressed with a lot of things tonight. I thought the Wolverines showed some signs of what they can be and what they can do, but on the other side too, Cohen Morrow I thought had a great game. Obviously Brady Roberts just a workhorse for Evanston from that running back position.
Kai Barker is tough to stop there in the receiver position too. Evanston has some offensive weapons. I think they're going to get to conference play. Do they have Star Valley coming up next week? Is that already for them? But that's a tough matchup. That's us next week, Star Valley. But Evanston, I think, has them in 2 weeks. Evanston has Lander right here next week. But there's a lot to take away from that one, Jared, and a lot to improve on going forward.
You hear the Evanston fans on their feet making some noise. First win of the season, first win for their new head coach, Steve Moore. 34-27, Evanston prevails over the Riverton Wolverines. So heartbreaking loss for Riverton on their first road trip of the season. And like you say, on that 4th and 12 play, you know, it's unlikely that you pick up a 4th and 12, but that was just a tough scenario to see the game end on a situation like that where the play looked especially awkward. But
yeah, I do think that was, we can ask coach, but I do think that play was supposed to be on 2, and the center snapped it on 1. A couple of receivers looking in were surprised the ball was snapped. Looked like DeVries, when he caught the ball, wasn't sure what to do. Wasn't sure if that was going to be a penalty or not, but obviously no penalty. The ball had been snapped, so broken play, and you hate to see that at the end of the game if that is indeed what happened. I'll tell you this, I'm kind of, as we all are as Wolverine fans, kind of sick of moral victories, but we had a 4th quarter football game. We had a 47-minute football game, and I mean, isn't that what we're looking for on any given Friday? That's what Riverton is trying to achieve. We came out on the wrong side of this one on the road, but we had a game that was entertaining from the first through the and pretty much into the 4th quarter. So steps in the right direction.
Yeah, definitely great 3rd quarter for the Wolverines. They came out, second half adjustments were obviously very nicely executed for Riverton, but congratulations to the Red Devils, their first win of the season, and it's a team that is improving and on the rise here, and this is the first time they've played a Wyoming opponent, so obviously we get to see a team that was fired up and ready to go after they've been beaten up by a couple of Utah teams, and they showed that tonight. 34-27. Again, the final is we're going to take you to the Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show coming up in just a few moments. We'll hopefully get Coach Lenhart up here in the box with us to get some post-game thoughts. We'll run down some final scoring numbers in this one and get you some scoring updates from around Wyoming high school football. Once again, the final score, Evanston prevails 34-27. And we'll take a timeout, bring you that Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show in moments on 105.1 Jack FM and County10.com.
Tires, and more tires. Bailey Tire and Auto Service offers a huge selection, great prices, and fantastic service.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, this is Haley. With over 13,000 tires to choose, Bailey has tires for your ATV, farm implement, car, truck, trailer, semi, lawnmower, wheelbarrow, you name it. If it has a tire, Bailey Tire and Auto Service can fix it or replace it. Bailey Tire and Auto Service is your one-stop complete tire and service shop. Just remember, with Bailey's, there's no tricks, just tires.
Get ready to explore Wyoming's stunning parks at Fremont Motors during the Open Road Sales Event. We're giving away a complimentary Wyoming State Parks pass with every vehicle sold, so you can get out and explore our beautiful state behind the wheel of a brand new vehicle. Plus, all Fremont vehicles come back by Fremont Care, so you'll be covered no matter what the Open Road has in store. Visit Fremont Chevrolet GMC in Riverton, or shop online anytime at FremontMotors.com and start your Wyoming adventure today.
I'm John Shade, your Edward Jones financial advisor. Financial investments are very important, but so are the investments of time, patience, and encouragement of our young athletes from their coaches, teachers, and mentors. That's why Edward Jones is a proud sponsor of the Lander Tigers on KOVE. Call John Shade or stop by my office at 824 West Main Street for all your investment needs. Edward Jones, making sense of investing. Member SIPC.
How many letters? 5 letters. Just think about, what am I doing right now? Smile. Smile? Uh-huh. This is so easy.
Nobody likes to be stopped by the police. But if I'd seen her texting while driving and given her a ticket, it just might have saved her life.
Welcome you back here to Evanston High School. Heartbreak for Riverton High School football fans watching along tonight as the Evanston Red Devils prevail 34-27. Hats off to Evanston picking up their first win of the year, and kind of the consensus between the three of us, our camera guy Jason and Scott, you and I talking too, but Wolverines are showing steps of improvement. They are showing some good things. Obviously, we hoped that they'd come out on the right side of the scoreboard as Wolverine supporters and fans. They did not tonight, but man, there were some good moments that I think this team can feel good about.
I liked a lot of some of the fundamentals. I liked some of the offensive line play. I think that allowed a couple of quarterbacks interchanging to get the run game going a little bit, even though Gattenbein in the second half was, by and large, most of the run game. DeVries showing just heart that you got to love being out there injured and on that last drive. Marching the guys down the field largely on his own, getting some first downs there behind his offensive line. Defensive, be an interesting game if you play this one again in 5 minutes, so to speak. If the Riverton defense comes out a little bit more stout against what they know is coming on film against these two running backs, nothing surprising from Evanston in what they did. Now, stopping those talented 3-4 guys on offense for the Red Devils is a different story. But schematically, there was nothing that should have surprised Riverton's defense. It took them a while to get off the bus, so to speak, when it came to the run game on the defensive side. Riverton hung in there, though. They were down a couple of scores there in that first quarter, starting to wonder if somehow this was going to be a blowout. But they did come back, and they owned that third quarter, as you pointed out, Jared. They really came into their own offensively in the third quarter. They did force a couple of big plays on the defensive side, too. They did turn the ball over a couple of times to Evanston, which is what this team thrives on. You get the sense the offense feeds off of defensive turnovers. Interesting to see what they do in a game when an offense is able to play clean enough to avoid those mistakes. But all in all, I got to say, a fun game, beautiful weather. First visit for me to Evanston, Wyoming. And under the lights on a Friday night, a very competitive game to the fourth quarter, which is what you're looking for. I honestly thought, just looking at film, not being in practice or anything, but I thought Riverton had a better than average shot in this game. And I think the way they came out, I think they'd be disappointed in. And it was just kind of punctuated with a sideways question mark with that very last 4th and 12 play on what appeared to be a miscommunication of some kind up front. Not the way you want to see a game end, but you lose by 7 points, doesn't matter how it happens, I guess. And it's a tough coaching point after a long week of practice to get these guys back in the right headspace on Monday for a team that we know is not going to be any easier up in Star Valley.
Yeah, definitely a tough start to the schedule for the Wolverines, but I think as you're looking ahead, and I know Coach Lenhart's going to come up here and say he doesn't want more moral victories, he wants scoreboard victories, but if you're a Wolverine fan wondering, are there going to be wins this season? Does this team have a chance to make things interesting for at least a few of these games down the stretch? Keep in mind, your starting quarterback is out there gutting it out on an ankle injury, so hopefully that heals up as the season goes along. And there were some odd bounces. There were just some weird things that happened tonight. That Evanston secondary had an interception at a critical time. So there were just, obviously in a 7-point game, a few things that the Wolverines could have changed, and they would have been on the right side of the scoreboard in this one. But they do fall to Evanston tonight on the Fremont Chevrolet scoreboard, 34-27. I do see Coach Lenhart making his way up here. He's got some other media responsibilities, so I think he's going to join us in just a few moments, and we'll get ready for his visit. So why don't we take one more time out here. This is the Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show, by the way, thanks to our friends at Bailey's. They've got the great 3 pit stop locations in Riverton and the Speedway Cafe. They are also your tire experts, and we know, having driven the entire state of Wyoming, tires are very important. Winter is coming, and Bailey's can hook you up with the best tires around. Plus, they've got some experts in the industry. So the Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show continues. Once again, Evanston comes out on top of this one, 34-27. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be joined here shortly by the head coach of the Wolverines, Mark Lenhardt. You're watching the Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show on 105.1 Jack FM and County10.com.
Realtors are proud to sponsor sports across Fremont County for the 22-23 season. RE/MAX All-Star Realtors was founded in 1991 with the goal of doing real estate in a way that would make our clients' lives as easy and uninterrupted as possible. They've completed many transactions involving residential, commercial, vacant lots, farm and ranch, and investment properties, and can help you with any goal you might have regarding any of these today. RE/MAX All-Star Realtors, 938 West Main Street, Riverton. See them online at remaxriverton.com.
Central Bank and Trust is a local bank that is focused on technology and convenience. We have a simpler online mortgage application process. You can use your computer or mobile device to upload required documents and sign them online. We have a variety of personal and business banking services. Stop in or visit centralbanktrust.com. We live here. We work here.
Goddard Construction is a local contractor dedicated to our community. We're proud to support our student athletes in every sport, on and off the field. We believe in hard work, crafting excellence, and building legacies, one project at a time.
Porter's Mountain View Supply, your local experts in fire and water. We got everything you need for new installs to accessories, and don't forget our great selection of stoves, grills, and spas. We've been serving Wyoming for over 40 years, so you know you can trust us for quality products and expert service. Visit portersmbs.com or stop by our Riverton or Casper locations today. Porter's Mountain View Supply, located on 750 East Sunset Drive in Riverton.
The Tyler Watson State Farm Agency is a proud supporter of Riverton High School Wolverine athletics. We understand the importance of community, and we're excited to be a part of it. As your neighbor, we're here to help you with all your insurance needs. We offer auto, homeowners, renters, business, and life insurance. So stop in and say hi or give us a call today. The Tyler Watson State Farm Agency will be here for you.
Make your home improvement projects a breeze with Sutherland's, your home improvement experts. Always the right products at the right price. For every project, every day. You can shop and pay online at Sutherlands.com, and we'll get it ready for easy in-store pickup. With the tools and the know-how, you can count on Sutherlands for any job. With over 30,000 items in stock, make your first stop at Sutherland's Home Improvement in Casper and Riverton.
Why do we enforce seatbelt laws? Because in real life, you don't get a second chance.
Welcome you back into the Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show. Again, we are awaiting the head coach of the Wolverines, Mark Lenhardt, to join us in just a few moments. Final score, Evanston on top of Riverton, 34-27. Let's run down a couple other scores of interest while we await the coach. In Lander tonight, it was number 3 Powell cruising to a 50-0 victory over the Lander Tigers. That Powell team looks pretty legit the last 2 weeks. They've had 2 shutouts in a row.
I do. I think it's really impressive what Riverton was able to do with them in 0 week compared to the last 2 scores that we've seen, but another difficult evening for the Lander Tigers.
This is a second quarter score according to WyoPreps.com. Also in 3A football, Cody leads Worland 50-7. Second quarter, 50 points.
That just gives you kind of an idea. Never like to compare common opponents, but these are teams that we've had to play already. Riverton's had to play Powell and Cody, who just hung 50 on their respective opponents, who are also common opponents of Riverton later on down the road. We're going to have a chance at both those Worland and Lander teams.
Third quarter score, Rollins out in front of Green River 18-12. That just has kind of the gritty, tough, missed extra point feel to an 18-12 game without seeing it or having any idea what's going on there. Some other Fremont County scores of interest. Riverside rolled over Wyoming Indian tonight 60-0. Grable is up on top of Shoshone. A little bit of a surprise in Grable, 16-0. And a big 1A 6-man showdown tomorrow with DuBois taking on on Little Snake River in bags. That should be a great Fremont County game. Once again, final score in this one was Evanston 34, Riverton 27. We welcome the head coach of the Riverton Wolverines, Mark Lenhardt, and coach, boy, tough loss, and I'm sure you have gone over with your troops that there were some good positive moments tonight, but obviously not where you want to be on the scoreboard.
Yeah, no, like I told the team, and I'll continue to say it, until we improve defensively as a program, we're never going to get to where we want to get to, and that is going to be a number one priority in moving forward in the off season and with our junior high and the youth league, and we've got to start teaching weight room toughness, tackling, and I think we're getting better here at the varsity level, but these are things that got to be bred through our kids if we're ever going to compete for a state title. So hopefully we can do that. But I don't question the kid's heart at all tonight. I thought Derek, for the most part, had a pretty dang good game, and there was just a couple moments. You can tell our kids haven't been in a close game, many close games, because we had a couple moments there where we had a chance to do some things, and we just played like we have not been in those crunch time moments before. But I thought we did some good things. I thought we made some good adjustments at halftime and did some stuff to give ourselves a chance. But, it is what it is. It was a tough loss. We were hoping to get a chance to go down and score, and we were going to go for two and try and win the game, just because we didn't feel like we could stop them.
That did cross my mind right there at midfield if you would do that, yeah. So interesting to know for sure.
Coach, 4th and 12 there, it looked like a miscommunication maybe on one or two.
Yeah, so we have a cadence where we go on protection. This is a heavy blitz team we're playing, and so we knew that the routes we were going to run were going to be a little bit deeper on 4th and 12, so we wanted to try and find out where the blitz was coming from and slide the protection to it. And unfortunately, our poor center forgot and snapped it on the dummy count. And, just, again, that's one of those situations where maybe we haven't been in a tight situation and we just didn't do it. And I'm kind of kicking myself for doing that. Maybe we should just run it regular and lived with it. But, it is what it is. And, we had executed it pretty well all game long and then, just picked the wrong time to not do it. So
those clutch moment things, Coach, you say, I think it's a great point. Guys got to know what it feels like to be in this situation in the fourth quarter. Back to the defense. Right off the bus in the first quarter, first defensive drive, you deferred to the second half, which turns out advantageous to you later on. Give your defense a chance to shine. I would imagine you didn't see anything different on film than you saw today, and it was just right down the field.
Early on, we made the decision to move Clay Sheets into the starting lineup, and we knew, when you play a sophomore, and he was, a couple times we got pinned. They do a nice job of that short motion, and they come in and crack your outside linebacker or outside safety, and they were able to get the edge on us, and, that happened a couple times. Then on QB sneak, we go with a double B-gap blitz with a pinch into the A-gap. I haven't seen the film, but you should be in pretty good shape when you do that, and I think we just missed the tackle, to be honest with you, and we sold out to try and stop it. Unfortunately, we're at that point where sometimes to stop the run, we're a little, might gamble a little bit at times, and at times it worked, and tonight it didn't. And, kudos to them. They called screen into a blitz on 3rd and long one time, and we brought some pressure there, and, there were some things that we did well, but, down here on their touchdown, we went to cover 2, and they ran an arrow route right into our corner. We're in the right coverage, and we just didn't keep the quarterback inside the pocket, and that's just young kids making mistakes, and it all has to work together for it to work. But the cool news is there were a lot of young kids out on that field tonight for us, and we battled with a bunch of seniors, so I'm happy, and I think we're going the right way.
In your estimation, I know you've only had a few minutes with your team after this one, but how's morale? Is this the kind of group that's going to bounce back and rally for next week?
Well, I think that was the message. Like, look, we realize what we're up against next week. I hate to break it to the people in Riverton. Star Valley is a better football team than we are. They're better than maybe everybody, this year. And so, that's one of those where we got to focus on getting better. If we play like that in our Eastern Conference, we're going to win some football games. But we have to find a way to get off the field. It's not like we haven't had them in 3rd and long or 3rd and, medium to where we can't get off the field. And at some point, somebody's going to have to make a play. We're not good enough at stopping the run to not play a one-high defense at times. We're going to be stuck playing some man coverage. And, if I have to pick our poison, I would say throw against Ty and Nick, to beat us. And to their kids' credit, they did that tonight, and so we've got to give them some credit there.
Definitely. Coach, I know long trip back for all of us, so we'll let you get out of here, but looking forward to chatting again next week. And I know tough loss, not always easy to come up and answer our questions, so really appreciate that.
No, I'm proud of the kids, and things are going the right way. It's just every week it just seems to get a little bit better.
Definitely. Coach Lenhart, appreciate your
Coach.
time as always. And Scott, as we wrap up the Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show tonight, our last order of business is to select our player of the game, made possible by our buddy Tyler Watson at State Farm. Tyler is, of course, your trusted local State Farm agent. He's a Riverton Wolverine alumni, proud Wolverine supporter, and at State Farm, they're ready to protect your future. Call Tyler today at 856-4118. It's probably after business hours, so I'd let him have the weekend off, but call Tyler Monday, and he can help you out. 856-4118. We appreciate Tyler and all the support he gives to Wolverine athletics. And I think a couple of candidates we talked about in our player of the game search.
Yeah, we had a couple of, again, outstanding receiving performances. I guess I should back up. You could go Gattenbein again because he stepped in at quarterback in the backup role with an injured DeVries, and he played running back for most of the second half. You could go DeVries just for showing the kind of heart that he did. Nick McIntosh, offense, defense, and special teams had a very McIntoshian kind of a day.
I like it.
But I think we're going to use this opportunity, especially in a narrow loss, I think, to go underclassmen again this week.
I thought Paxton Stevens had a tremendous football game, and look, Nick McIntosh put up ridiculous numbers. So
what did he end up at?
If Nick wants to be your MVP, then he absolutely should be. 10 catches, 228 yards, 3 touchdowns. Wow. I don't know if there's anybody better this week receiving the football than those kind of Nick McIntosh numbers. And this is the 3rd week now we've said, well, Nick should probably be considered as, and I thought...
We're trying to spread it around. We know Nick's going to get his Tyler Watson State Farm Player of the Game.
Exactly. We want everybody, if we could give one to everybody on the whole team, we would. But I thought we'd go freshman. Paxton Stevens was in there on a handful of big plays. He had a fumble recovery, and it's just really cool to see a freshman in one of his very first varsity starts coming in and tearing it up.
Yeah, I thought so too. He was in on the fumble recovery, as you mentioned, and that very well might have been a pivotal point in the game. Riverton coming up just a little bit short, but it's plays like that, especially from freshmen. I thought what Coach said about even the upperclassmen on this team, but a generally young team being on the field in the fourth quarter in a close game is something you have to learn to get used to, and it's a skill that you have to learn how to finish games, and some of it's X's and O's, some of it's conditioning so that you're in the right spot physically and mentally in the fourth quarter. Some of it is just some kind of intangible thing where I've been here before, so things like that cadence mix-up on 4th and 12 don't happen, and some other things that we saw in the second half don't happen. But you get some butterflies if you've been playing on a losing team for, say, 3 or 4 years, and all of a sudden you're in games and you expect to be in these close Eastern Conference games going forward. So, I thought that was a great point, and to have all kinds of underclassmen on the field is only going to mean good things for the Riverton Wolverines in about 2 or 3 seasons, too, as they build from the ground up.
It'll be a tough one next week, as Coach Lenhart mentioned, with a trip to #1 Star Valley. But should be interesting to see how the Wolverines do against another very good football team. We'll be back with you next Friday night. That is a 6 o'clock kickoff as of right now, which means we'll be back on the air at around 5:30 with the Porter's Tailgate Show. Streaming coverage. Watch every Wolverine game on County 10's YouTube and Facebook page. Big shout out to everybody commenting along on on these streams. We really appreciate that. That helps support us if you give us a like and a comment there, and just lets us know that you're out there watching along with us, rooting along with us. So thanks to everybody who took a moment to do that, and thanks to those of you with the radio on too. We'll be, of course, on 105.1 Jack FM all season long. Congratulations again to Paxton Stevens, our Tyler Watson State Farm player of the game. With that, we wrap up the Bailey Tire and Auto post-game show here. Again, Evanston comes out in front, their first win on the season. They knock off Riverton 34-27. Thanks so much to Jason, our fantastic camera operator, putting up with us. Jason, we mentioned that you're stuck in a car with Scott and I for 8 hours, so that makes you the MVP of the broadcast alone. But Jason Peterson, our fantastic camera operator, taking time to be here with us and showing you the sights of K. Fackrell Field. Scott, thanks to you as always, and looking forward to next week.
Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to making a beautiful drive up to the Tetons areas next Friday night.
Should be great for Scott Fuller. I'm Jared Anderson. Again, final score, Evanston 34, Riverton 27. We'll see you next week for more Wolverine football.